Because you're like the most socialist of the crew right now.
I used to think Destiny was a bit of a...
You said he didn't report his income from a foreign entity! That's a crime to the State Department! Tate is worse than Epstein.
Yes.
Really? Tate has done some, like, insanely crazy shit. Don't make me defend Trump.
I don't think he's been a judge.
You think I'm going to pick, like, Roy Moore? I'm like, that must be your opinion of me, that I'm going to, like, pick some out there person.
My opinion about you, Pisco, is just constantly reshuffling. It's just like, it's constantly like, I still don't know where you are in the Supreme Court. I think.
What do you mean? I criticize the Supreme Court quite a bit.
Do you think we should expand the court?
Of course. That's been my opinion since the Merrick Garland steal.
Where are you on Alito? And should he have recused himself?
No, I don't think he should have.
It's immediately going to...
Sorry.
Even when.
Yeah, I think the Chief Justice is wrong.
That the Chief Justice was wrong to take that opinion away from Alito?
Yeah.
Yeah. Guys, I can't do this. I can't do this at all. I can't.
Listen, you want to apply everything that someone's wife does to the person themselves. I don't want to do that.
Chief Justice Roberts seemed to do that when he took that opinion away.
I disagreed a lot with the chief in recent weeks and months.
But not on that Trump immunity decision. Pisco thinks that Roberts nailed that one.
I hate that decision.
Just because your wife flies some flags at both of your homes doesn't mean you believe any of it.
I don't know. I disagree with you on this.
Hey, fist bump right here.
I think that if your wife has any respect for you and the sanctity of your job, where you're meant to be certain, like, apolitical standard, then she should have her political opinions, but not fly them from a flag outside of her house.
So she loses her rights?
It's crazy if you, like, have any level of respect for your partner who is a political
figure. But we're
figure.
not judging whether we have any level of respect. I agree with both of you on that. There's no disagreement on that.
The idea that they wouldn't be aligned in this at all is wild.
Well, actually, I'm just curious, because we don't have to... Hold on, I don't remember. When they talked about the issue with the flags flying or whatever, did they say that they'd written those statutes or those ethical guidelines? Was it to prevent all impropriety, or was it the appearance
of
impropriety? Oh, was it appearance?
Yeah, it was.
Oh, crazy. Okay. Do you think it might appear improper if...
Apparently, a reasonable mind like Chief Justice John Roberts, there's circumstantial evidence to suggest that he also felt the same way.
Why was it so great that he had to take the opinion, but not for Alito to recuse himself? Isn't that kind of weird?
That is
kind of a double
weird.
standard.
Yeah,
huh?
it does. It is weird.
Isn't that weird?
I think that it is weird, but I don't agree with the chief on a lot, and I don't agree that it's reasonable to think that just because the flag was up for how many days? 3 days?
I can't even remember.
We've had this discussion before.
Yeah.
Crazy.
3 days. Have you seen Alito? You know how long it takes me to climb up that flagpole? Have you ever seen Mulan? It took her a whole week.
Exactly.
All right.
You must be swift as a course. Yeah, exactly.
You have a good voice.
Thank you.
Are you classically trained?
No,
She is.
I believe it.
She has a name.
Cool.
What is it?
Yeah,
Pisco?
it's
not Joanne.
on this,
It's not
on
Joanne.
this panel, it's woman too. Okay.
Woman too. Blonde one.
Why are we all here?
Yeah, exactly.
That's a good question.
Other than to
Good
yell at
question,
you.
Kyla.
Yeah, it's all on me. Hi guys, welcome to a live version of Bridges, where we are joined by the DGG community streamers. Okay, what's gonna be helpful for people who don't know who you are? Just tell us your name, who you are, starting with the most important character on the show, Dan the Content Man.
Oh shit! Sorry.
Hey everyone, what's up? My name's Dan.
Don't look at that screen. Look over there.
Hey everyone, what's up? Boy, I wish I had a thing I could see what's going on here.
Weird.
My name's Dan Saltman. I am Israel's greatest soldier, and I'm just, longtime member of the stream, Destiny's sidekick that gets abused frequently, and that's about it, I guess. Not much else to it. Yeah, sound good?
Sounds good.
Yeah. All right, we got a lot of these to go through. There you go.
I'm Josiah, aka Pondering Politics, and I'm here to yell at Pisco and to make the case for democratic supremacy and aggressive Supreme Court reform, which he opposes. Don't let him fool you.
I'm Joanna, also known as The Silly Serious. I identify as a non-streaming streamer, and I occasionally come in to chat with Stephen about philosophy stuff and gender stuff and international relations stuff.
Lesbian bars.
And lesbian bus.
Yeah. I'm Pisco. I'm a lawyer. I'm a frequent guest. We talk about things like politics and the Department of Justice and cases that are going on.
I'm really important Twitch streamer and Ben Shapiro owner.
I am Alexander, irrelevant, online. Okay, I'm a desperate roommate. Desperately, seeking roommates right now because mine abandoned me. All right, I have a drama-free house. I promise. All right. Do you want to
Do both. Bring both mics together. God.
I am Loner Box. I am Israel's second greatest defender. Oh, that one. Okay.
Don't you dare.
I'm a streamer. I occasionally talk to Stephen about Middle East.
You didn't say who you were, so I don't need to say who I am, do I? We're co-hosts.
True.
And you're the hosts.
We're the hosts. Thank you.
Oh, wait, we're sharing.
All right. Okay.
No, make those two share. You two share.
Yeah.
Yeah, you.
Oh, I thought you were going to introduce yourself though, real quick.
No,
Oh,
I'm
never
not
mind.
introducing myself. They know
What if
who
they
I
don't
am.
know him? Okay.
If they're on bridges, they probably know who I am.
Maybe.
In fairness.
Well, thank you so much for having us.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here, guys. I wanted to talk with you guys, obviously, about the community and why you're here for the election night and the upcoming election, and to milk you guys as hard as possible for some content. Okay, maybe start. I'm super curious to know how everyone actually got involved with the Destiny community. I know you were a Hassan mod. Tomato, tomato, tomato.
That wasn't the start.
Tomato, 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 tomato.
I was. Yes, I
Wait, can you
was.
tell us that?
He still is. Tell us.
No, we're there. We're there.
Oh,
Shut up. It was
dude.
never.
Yeah, what the hell? Yeah, so back when there was the schism hadn't happened, I became a Hassan mod because I was in his Discord debating like literally 6 hours a day, every day. I loved it. It was fantastic. And they were just like, hey, you're in here all the time? Became a mod. Fell out of becoming a mod because the mod chat got a bit spicy. Group chat got leaked. And so
Many such cases.
What were the jokes?
the jokes were, colorful of specific communities. Look, I didn't say
communities?
I didn't
Which
no,
ones?
like
Which
I forgot. I didn't make the jokes myself. Okay, I want to know. I have no logs.
Sure.
Okay, I was in the group chat, and so it was like radiation. Okay, I was like.
Why did you want to go and be a part of Hassan's community?
I mean, Hassan, back then, Hassan was, sorry, my bad. Back then, Hassan was pretty chill. He was pretty, cool with, liberals and liberal ideas. Go ahead.
How were you removed as a mod? What was that process? Were you spoken to?
It was the group chat got leaked. Everybody was like, this is, okay, so there was, a little bit of homophobia and transphobia in there. Okay, there was the head mod was a gay dude and he had a gay dude who was a little bit spicy with some of his statements amongst other. I had no logs. Okay, I had no logs that were leaked. I was simply in the chat. But yeah, it got leaked. My bad. No, I clean logs. But yeah, that happened, and then they just removed everybody in the mod chat. So it's kind of also Frogan was cool at the time too. I don't know what happened. Frogan was the coolest mod at the time, and then everybody just I don't know. They became not cool anymore.
Is everyone who's a part of that community like an ex-mod kind of deal, or is it less?
You gotta get better at your mic.
You guys gotta.
He's-
yeah.
So I'm not trained. All right, I'm not a streamer.
classically trained,
I'm not so is everyone part of that community an ex-mod? Are they all?
Straight.
Did you see them all grow up and become big streamers as well?
Not everybody in that community. Most of the people in that community either stopped. There was some controversy with the people who leaked the logs. They went on to scam people, which was kind of cathartic for me that they leaked the logs, making us all look bad, and then they turned out to be a bunch of scamming weirdos. So fuck those people. But no, I think the only person who was there at the time who continued streaming was Frogan. And myself. I think nobody else was streaming. Everybody else was doing normal shit. So
Do you think it was just them who changed, or did you change as well?
Maybe they're still.
I haven't I've changed political positions, but other than that, I'm pretty similar. I've changed some political positions, but nothing too radical. They went pretty. I mean, we all know how Hassan has changed over the last couple of years, where he's just gone crazy. So.
Have you ever asked any of your fellow streamers and friends why they trickled into your community or anything? Have you ever had that conversation with people?
Yeah, I think so. I usually have a decent idea. Usually it's either a big event, games will play, some debate that'll happen, generally, yeah.
Okay. I feel this year specifically, there's been a lot. You blown up. It's been this year specifically. You went from
No.
ruminate The no one.
Rum 1
The
and 8.
forgettable.
Rum 1 and 8 to pondering
Rum 1
politics.
and 8, yeah.
Yeah.
N8, right? It was
Yeah.
an 8. And a
So
TE.
I couldn't
Bring it back.
I couldn't get the actual spelling of ruminate because it was taken already. And a buddy of mine was like, dude, you're streaming. Throw like a 1 and an 8 in there. And I'm like, all right, cool. And then people would be like, what's Rum 1 and 8? And I'm like, it's ruminate, man. And so eventually I rebranded. And yeah, it's been the past 12 months. Yeah.
Crazy.
It has been crazy.
I feel like you got Occupy Democrats. You've been doing some crazy
Yeah,
stuff.
I think I met Destiny on the Joshua for Congress panel. Remember how much fun we had roughing that guy out?
Oh my God, was he like a 20-year-old running for Congress?
He was
On,
like a socialist. He knew nothing, and we just beat him up.
That was a rough one.
I think you ended his career.
He might have quit after that.
Yeah.
To be fair, that guy was like rolling around waiting for his career to be ended. So,
Yeah.
damn.
And I feel like you're an interesting case because you're like the most socialist of the crew right now.
Wait a minute. Are you
And-
suggesting that we're not interesting cases? Because you just said that
You
he's
guys
an
are-
Yeah,
interesting
she is
case.
suggesting
Yeah.
that. Get over it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Boring.
Ouch.
They are very interesting.
Thank you.
Okay, guys. But one thing that I feel like I'm always surprised by is I feel like a lot of people are surprised that you've fallen more and more consistently into like the Destiny political opinion camp. Do you know like why?
Yeah, why'd you start copying all of your takes from me?
It's more
Yeah.
like
I'd really like to know that. Do you like watch him all the time before you stream and then you go live and then you just rehash it or?
Wow. Oh, wow. Where's this coming from? This just got awkward.
I'm glad she didn't call us interesting now. That was brutal. Yeah.
No, I'm obviously joking.
okay. I used to think Destiny was a bit of a cunt. So, but I used to.
And that
but
was
I-
a lot.
That's nice when he says it.
But I enjoyed the debates, so I watched as I was kind of hovering around the breadtube crowd. I always preferred streaming to video essays, even though I started video essays just because I have no attention span. And then I kind of realized that when I used to identify as a socialist in like 2010, 2011, 12, barely anyone was into politics, and definitely not that kind of area. And socialist, like where I came from, usually just meant like social democrat, with a little bit of reformist or like explore new ways of structuring society. So I kind of thought the whole USSR tanky shit was done, but it wasn't. So I think a lot of it's been more like like changes in association rather than like fundamental ideas. And over time from streaming, I just kind of realized that
Okay,
this
so as
community
you-
was the one I identified with the most.
As you got into the space, you kind of like first identified with more like the bread tube, and then as you got more like as you socialized with people, you realize like these aren't quite where.
Well,
I belong
breadtube back in the
anyways.
day was people fighting against Nazis. So if you're attacking Nazis, it's quite easy to make yourself look good, right? And there was the likes of like ContraPoints and people like that. But then I guess as time developed and you start to scrutinize things a bit more. And I mean, I was like a musician for most of my 20s, so I didn't really dive deep into anything. So the more I started looking at stuff and the more I started like reading about particular topics more closely, I just started to realize that I didn't really go quite exactly where they were going. Ukraine was definitely the first red flag when I realized that socialism was a little bit fucking weird when it came to the rest of the world. And then after that, it was just like one other issue after another.
Socialism or the socialists that you interacted with?
There shouldn't be anything theoretically about socialism that makes you support Russia and Ukraine, but somehow it happened. So, yeah, probably both. Like there must be something inherent in the ideology, but also just the people as well.
So wait, this journey like really began when Russia invaded Ukraine. That's what you mean in 2022, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was like the first big one. There were other like little things before that. I mean, I always used to, I think it was every now and then, like I'd make a video about Churchill, like talking about how he's so valorized in the UK and people like to bury a lot of his worst excesses. But I left a little concession in there saying that at the end of the day, he was the one who realized that Hitler was a piece of shit and that he shouldn't be trusted, he shouldn't be appeased, and that's good. And actually, like at one point in Europe, he was the only one fighting against the Nazis because America took their fucking time. Anyway.
So you're still pro Churchill
but-
compared to Chamberlain, then?
I threw that little concession in because I think like right wingers aren't wrong about everything.
Right.
But then people got really fucking angry, and I was like, I realized, yeah, it's just like small things like that at a time. I just realized that lefty sphere online is like just not what I want to be part of.
When you said Americans, or excuse me, that right-wingers were not wrong about everything, had you met an American right-winger at that time?
American right-wingers
Yeah.
are special, okay? I don't know if you saw the last poll from YouGov, but they asked like every other country in Europe who they would vote for in this election. I think the closest Trump came is he gets like 24% in
wow.
Italy.
Can we somehow get
Yeah.
your
What about,
constituents to
what
vote in
about
our
Eastern
election?
Europe, like Hungary and
They love him.
I don't think the poll only had like 10 countries in it, but
Yeah.
the best performing one for Trump was Italy, and he had
Okay.
24% versus like Kamala getting 50.
I think it's really interesting as well when you see the leftist kind of, there's almost this mapping in their mind, and I'm a leftist, so I'm not, it's self on self-hate, but sometimes when it comes to international relations, leftists will go, oh, who's the socialist? Who's the more left-wing in this situation? And then take that side as if the left-wing, their ideology and their point of view just maps perfectly onto all other geopolitical situations without any knowledge of what's going on.
I think that's totally. I bet that's totally true. I'm actually interested in your perspective from an Australian perspective on Churchill, because I understand there's a lot of resentment and hurt feelings about.
Yeah, Churchill
Gallipoli.
really f***ed us in
Yeah,
World War One, and we're
yeah.
still mad about it. We're still really upset about it. F*** Winston Churchill from Australia.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, there was actually a little interesting part about who's the historian in quotation marks. His name's Daryl something. He's from. The chat will know who I'm
The
talking
Martyr
about.
guy?
Martyr Maid guy, yeah. Where he did this big thing
Nautical
like
guy?
Churchill sucks or whatever. But there are some. When I went to Australia, there was like definitely a lot of hurt feelings about Gallipoli and World War One and his involvement in that. But interesting how like an international conflict made you kind of appreciate the differences and that you were having with the socialist friends that you're hanging out with.
Yeah, because I think domestically, and you'll notice that left-wing creators do this a lot, is that they will sometimes realize that they're kind of homeless without the whatever left-leaning party is in their country. So that's why every now and then people like Hassan will become like Democrats to the untrained eye, you know? And then it's only after like a kind of niche issue appears that you start to notice what's going on. So
You
that
say it
makes
though, but
sense.
I am happy that like Vosh is pretty pro-Ukraine, and it seems like Hassan, although initially kind of wishy-washy on Crimea, seems to be pro-Ukraine, at least in some capacity, right?
Yeah, but that's the thing is like because
Same way that Merrick Garland is pro Justice Linderman. Yeah.
I say there's still common cause on some of these fronts, and I hope. I don't know. Has Hassan endorsed Kamala?
No.
no, I don't think so.
I know it's
He had like a little phase, didn't he, where he was getting really hyped about Walz and
Tim
Biden
Walz.
dropping out, but that didn't.
happen. And
Yeah, but then I think it was the DNC,
Just
right?
say, and then it happened.
What?
And then he just moved the goalpost. I don't track him very closely. Is that what he did?
Yeah, but you just like laughed and repeated what I said.
Well, no. What I,
Thunder from my.
well, no, just because you made it sound like that's it. Fuck. Yeah, they actually did it. Like Democrats called his bluff. Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, because I didn't. Must have been something else going on. I didn't follow the VP stuff very closely, but
Yeah.
I thought that Walz was considered somewhat of an unlikely pick, or were people not?
He was the furthest to the left. A lot of people
yeah,
thought
and
it
then
was going to
people,
be Shapiro.
Yeah, yes, Shapiro, and then a lot of people were like, they would never f***ing choose Walz. Like that would be if they choose Walz, like that would I'd be so happy. And then she chose Walz, and they're like.
Whatever.
So yeah, where's Bernie? Like I don't care. It was just like it's never enough. It's
No.
like all the people that are saying that like we wanted an open contest, a contested whatever bullshit. It wouldn't have mattered if Kamala would have won or if any center left person would have. Nobody would have given a fuck.
I haven't given my story, right? So I came from, this is a shout out, Prime Chi. The Prime Chi community. You guys remember those
Yes.
big debates? So I was in, I think 2L. This was during COVID. And I remember watching another shout out, Lecture Fan. Do you guys know what Lecture Fan is? Yeah. I was just randomly on a stream one. I was just like bored out of my mind in COVID lockdown. And he's a conservative lawyer guy. And I saw Lecture Fan's stream. And I started chatting to him. And he was like responding to a few things that I was saying. I was like, oh, this is interesting. And then I saw this guy, Prime Kai. And he's like, anyone can call in, which is, I mean, wild. You guys do these shows now. And we do the Twitter Spaces or whatever. But at that time, I thought it was pretty innovative, actually. And I started going on those panels a lot. And then from there, when I first met Steven, it was during the Kyle Rittenhouse arc.
Oh, really?
This is his first ban from Twitch when he said
I was never banned for Rittenhouse, just to be clear.
departnered
Yeah.
for saying dipshit protesters.
We think it's okay to
We
burn
think
down
it's okay to
buildings.
be able to do this. Going on.
Quoted just like Biden.
Come on. No, but it's that sort of exchange. I think that we talked on an initial panel with like A4 Andre. Do you remember that guy? And then we had our big like classical discussions about defense of property, and from there it kind of snowballed into other topics.
Is this the blade of grass
The
thing?
legendary
That's the
blade.
blade.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is the most defended theoretical blade of grass in the world. Okay,
Yes.
there are like fortresses built on either side of this
Then
blade of grass.
Another one of our first conversations was about the Supreme Court.
Were you guys
And
fighting?
I think it was because what Stephen will do, actually, I think it's really good of him to do that, is oftentimes he'll ask a lot of questions when he's trying to build a rapport.
That's correct, yeah.
And I really liked it. So he's asking me a bunch of questions about the Supreme Court at a time where you weren't in your law arc yet. You weren't like reading all these cases or doing all this stuff. And you asked me, like, do you have confidence in the Supreme Court if Biden's elected, that if Trump, this is in like August of 2020, that the Supreme Court will stand up? And I said, yes, I believe in the integrity of Chief Justice John Roberts. I think that he is
Clip that.
a good steward of the Supreme Court, and I think that
Clip
he'll
that
do what's
too.
in the best interest of the stability of the nation. That was me as a 3L at that point, or a 2L or a rising 3L. My opinion has since changed because of the immunity decision, but yeah, those are the initial topics that we talked about, and then it got a little weird. We started talking about, like, I don't know, Ayurveda. Was that you?
It was me.
Oh,
That was Eric.
okay, but you were involved somehow in that.
Arya
that?
Veda?
Ayurveda with Dr. K.
Oh, Ayurveda.
Oh, and then the Dr. K stuff, and then
It was all like Dr. K adjacent
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
What? How did you get into the DGG verse?
Stephen insulted me in Prime Kai's chat.
She probably deserved it, to be
So
fair.
Prime Kai's as well.
So I was just chatting. He was on the panel. I was like, this guy, I didn't know who Stephen was. Sorry, not a celebrity
Yeah.
to me. And I was like, no, I think he's wrong. And then he came at me really hard. And I was like, fuck it, I'll go on the panel. And then we chatted afterwards. He was actually very reasonable. And then I came on to speak to him in person. And then every now and then I pop in to speak with him in person.
When she says in person, she means on Discord.
Yeah,
gotcha.
yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, I'm here
Damn,
all
that's
the
a
time.
commitment.
Yeah.
I didn't know. You were telling me?
Yeah, I'm sorry. No, yeah, in Discord. That's as in person as I get.
And then I feel like.
Well, except for now when you're literally in person.
I'm like,
And are you? Because I feel like, did you step away from content creation? Because I feel like there was like a drought. Because when I first came into like the DGG verse, everyone's like, "You have to talk to Joe. You have to talk to Joe." And it was like right at the same time that I think you stopped streaming. And I just like had watched a few of your older stuff, and I was like, "Oh, she's amazing. I love her." But you were just like not around. And I feel like you're stepping back into content, if I'm understanding.
So it was the end of COVID, and my dad died. Yeah, and at the same time, I sort of half dropped out of my PhD program. So I was just in a very vulnerable position, and it just didn't feel good to like sit on screen every day and have people like
Tearing you apart.
yeah, and I just wanted to be able, because part of what I like about DGG is that people are willing to have different positions and like come at each other but still be nice. But
Which
I was just, like,
DGG are you a part of? What?
There are
not
people.
the chat, not the chat.
No, there are people in the chat too,
Yeah.
though.
There are
Like-
some, yeah.
Yeah, there are some that are really mean as well. But like, okay, when I say DGG, I mean Stephen, pretty much.
Oh, thank you, true.
Like, I can talk to you and disagree
I am
with
nice.
you.
You are nice.
Yeah.
I am nice, thank you.
But I was just in a position where I wanted to actually be able to take a little bit of pushback without being a big baby about it. And so I'm starting to get there. And yeah.
But can I tell one of the projects that you're working on? So two projects that I want to call out. One is it's called The Context. It's Joanna's podcast. It's really super funny. It's like bite-sized news. So that's like a semi-consistent project that you've been doing a good job
I
on
was doing it weekly until
Yeah.
I came to America.
And the other is the most amazing play that I've ever seen in my life. And I'm not just saying that. Like, it is legit one of the best plays ever. I'm trying to bring it to America. It's really, really sick. But yeah, so you've been keeping busy.
I'm in the arts as my day job. So
Yeah.
I'm a playwright and an actor. And so I have a play that was in production last year.
Won a
and I'm
bunch of
going back
awards.
for another
I didn't know
play.
you were a playwright.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
We need to fundraise it because it is and I saw it like 10 times. It's
He literally
amazing.
came every show.
Yeah, it's really, really good. But yeah, it's so you've been keeping busy, just not necessarily streaming.
streaming
Yeah,
world.
Yeah, no, I figured you were super, super busy. And what's your PhD?
My PhD was, I'm on break. I probably will drop out because ContraPoints did it. And so I feel like that's the cool thing to
the
do.
vibe, yeah.
It was on cognitive linguistics and political leadership. So I did my undergrad in international relations where I focused on Middle Eastern politics. And I studied Arabic. And then I did a research project, like an honors project on interruption patterns across genders. And then I moved into conceptual linguistics, like how you build concepts and how that changes how you assess political leadership. So is a woman politician judged the same way a man is based on because just to nerd out for a second, because you conceptualize people on ontological grounds first, so you're a woman or you're black or things that people can see. Yeah, you categorize that first. So then a job, like a praxeological category, is under that. So technically, a woman politician has a completely different set of standards to a male politician because you're judged as a woman
right
first.
now. We're literally seeing. I'm wondering how that would map onto like Marjorie Taylor Greene showing Hunter Biden's dick on.
It was redacted. Thank you.
It was redacted?
She put a
Was the
black
dick
bar
really
over
blacked
it.
out?
No, she put a black bar over it.
She did? Oh, I thought it was.
Can I just say, I was saying to you when we were talking about
Yeah.
Peruvian
Yeah.
politics,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
very interesting. Also, I did a
Indeed.
conference paper on how women are used by right-wing movements to sort of soften their attacks.
Like the Italian.
The Italian leader right now, but also
And Tommy Lauren.
the woman in Peru, the
Keiko Fujimori.
Franke in
Yeah.
Germany. Is it Franke?
Who's the Italian? Although she's kind
No,
of.
that's what Erudite just
Oh,
said.
got it.
And there was a
Listen to
woman.
women.
Sorry.
There was a woman in Japan, but it's.
I categorized you ontologically, and I didn't.
I didn't listen to it. But it's very interesting to look at like how I titled my paper for that conference "The Smiling Face of the Right" because it was like, oh, she's not a threat, she's not dangerous, with like the most insidious policy underneath it, but it would just be softened. By
That's
the
like what
presence
Russia
of
did with
women.
Lawrence Southern. Sorry.
Whoa.
She should have just said.
Those are
"Oops."
allegations, and you know what? So what do you think about that, by the way? I mean, there's
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
additional kind of Tim Pool stuff in the news right now, Stephen. I don't know if
What else came out?
Well, I don't know. Just being weird. He's like
He debated Sam Cedar. He finally
He
caved.
debated Sam Cedar, and then he like fired his staff.
Does he have hair?
He has some hair.
Just
Have
because
you
he's
seen
always
him
wearing a
without
hat.
a beanie?
No, I haven't. That's what I was wondering.
He's also like, didn't he say he was in a relationship and that he's going to
With
have
a child.
kids?
He's with child.
Wait, he's in a relationship
wants-
with a child.
With child.
No, he wants to look. He wants to take a break to look for a relationship and have a family.
I'm just interested.
I thought he said he saw a picture of his forthcoming daughter.
Wait, are we talking about Tim Pool?
18 years.
Maybe I
30
misunderstood.
employees that he has to fire because he's got a family to feed.
Yeah, but my understanding is that after that, he also then said something about like he realizes that he doesn't have the family life that he would like to have, and he like wants to take some time because he's working so hard. He's never spending time like looking for like the right woman and stuff like that. I could be wrong, but that was my understanding.
I think he has a wife.
I thought he had a wife and a baby on the way.
Yeah.
But he got a baby on the way.
My
Saw
que-
a photo of the fetus.
Could you break bread with someone like how are your amicable relationships with people who you spar with? Like
Non-existent now.
Also, hi Abba, thanks for joining the stream. Nice to see you. And guys, if you're watching, make sure you subscribe.
Yeah.
Dan, I don't know if we can make you crack a smile this whole conversation, but
He's busy.
I was-
14
war.
14 years.
Well, from when I first started watching Steve, I mean, was that 2007 late or 2008
I
when
think
you started?
2007. I think I was still in high school, so probably past that.
Ustream.
No, I didn't use stream. I think it was probably 2010, 2010.
No, it couldn't have been because OWN started in 2009.
I graduated high school in 2007.
2009 is when I started. In 2009, I started.
My very first paycheck was in December of 2010 from Justin TV, and I think I started streaming within that year.
Okay. Well, I guess I was right around that
Right
time then.
around
I mean, I thought it was earlier. Well, I started Tiny Chat in 2009, and then I remember watching his stream, because I played StarCraft, and there wasn't many streams. My competitors were like Ustream.com, or sorry, Ustream, was it .tv? Ustream.tv and Livestream.com were the two ones, and then
Did Tiny stream at all? Like, why were they competitors?
Tiny Chat was it was like a group video chat website, and we just raised venture funding, and part of the job was kind of like what Twitch is doing now, which is trying to go out and attract talent and get people to the show. And I was like, fuck it, I can use some of this money however the fuck I want. So I'll reach out to Steve and do it. But I don't think anything happened as far as doing it. Like, I don't know, it was a weird time. We actually didn't end up signing anyone at all. But yeah, I mean, I've known him since then, and I think I like kind of more so joined the community around like, as far as like not being in text chat, but being, on stream, like maybe 2014. Does that sound right? Something around
Whenever I
there.
was playing Hearthstone, so.
Yeah.
What was the first thing that brought you on stream?
Man, I'm not sure.
Was it DayZ? Did you play DayZ with us?
No. The first time coming on stream was Rust stuff, I think, actually. like as far as like being on voice chat, that type of stuff. Like I'd be a chatter, like, you know, yelling at you in chat. But as far as like being on voice, it was probably the Rust. So that was probably like voice stuff 2015 or 2016, whenever Rust launched, or whenever you first played it. So I don't know when that was, right around that time.
Was like the culture of Justin TV at the time a little bit like transitioning from a viewer chatter to just like a close
Justin
personal
TV
friend,
was
more
just a
natural,
piracy
or?
site, 90% of it. Like people, I mean, people don't remember, but like Justin TV before it came Twitch, like when you went to the homepage of that site, it was like Simpsons, Friends, South Park, and like that was the entire homepage. And then you would see Steve like in, you know, on the bottom right corner of the type of thing. Like just nobody did gaming streams back then at all.
Wait,
but-
were you one of the first gaming streamers?
I was the first person to quit my job and stream full time. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
In the
Innovator.
world. In the world.
Didn't you innovate?
Disruptor.
Like to be
Or I
clear,
might have been the second one. I think Hassan Piker might have been the very
wait, were
first
there
one. I
people
was around.
doing?
Right.
Wow, he did it on his own. Didn't you innovate IRL streaming with some like Skype call?
If
in
I
the
innovate, you
drive-thru or
mean
something?
I was able to like jank together some early on and then I got banned for it? Yeah.
Oh,
When did
Why?
YouTube start paying people?
I have no idea.
I wonder if there was people that made a career of gaming, not live, but like broadcasted stuff. Like you were the first person to do it live. I wonder if there was someone else that was making money being a
Playthrough.
gamer.
You'd have to think of like what some of the like earliest machinima contracts were written
Boom,
for.
headshot, whoever the fuck that dude was.
FPS Doug, those guys didn't make a living.
You don't think so?
No, I know the guy. Jeremy.
The college humor type dudes. They weren't making.
Well, you're thinking that was the pure ownage. College Humor. I don't know if that channel made money back then.
They all.
made money.
I don't think.
made money, didn't they?
I don't
How?
think YouTube paid you. I don't think
Because
YouTube
they were,
paid
yeah,
you
the
for
and even if they would have paid you, like the
College
ads.
Humor paid them. I was a big Jake and Amir fan. Is it people know who Jake and Amir is?
Yes.
Love Jake and Amir. They got money. They got paid for sure.
You like got money
Yeah, you're not
back
rich.
then. Like got money was
It was
like if you
like
got like
46,000
36,000 a year, you were like f***ing made it. That was like the dream.
Sponsors, maybe? Did they have any?
Yeah, I know they had
People
sponsors.
must
yeah.
have been making money because what about like Colleen Ballinger, like all of the early YouTubers in that in the Audis?
Oh, did she make the apology? Is
Yeah.
that-
I feel
okay, yeah.
young right now, not knowing anything,
Like,
having these names. I feel very
How old are
young.
you?
I'm 27. I should know these names. I was just too busy playing Dota. I'm gonna be honest. That's a-
Like what about all the makeup
Lion.
people as well, like Jeffree Star and stuff? They must have been making money to be no okay.
I don't know.
There just wasn't the ecosystem for it. Like you weren't.
Yeah.
I don't think you got paid much by ads. You had to join like a whole content CDN, like a content delivery
What
network.
were those things
and
called? The ones that f you the most.
The CDN. I think they were CDNs. Content. No, that's not correct.
No. M something.
MCM, multi-channel network, I
that's
think, or
it.
MCNs. Yeah.
They
Real
molested
horrible,
you,
yeah.
basically.
Whoa.
I mean, they did. There's no other word for it. It's like they're
Those
like,
are the ones where it's like we own your intellectual property into perpetuity. They're all universes for $200 a month, and you're like, it was like insane contracts early on.
Didn't
Yeah.
Donkey have one of those contracts? Video game Donkey.
I think every early. I
He's
think
one of the
DSP
best
did. I bet
YouTuber
Hutch
players.
did.
Hutch.
Oh my
Yeah.
God! Did you see that DSP made a video calling out Twitch and its CEO?
What a.
That's
guy.
how. That's how. What a Chad.
Is part of your crusade? DSP joined?
I didn't even. He just knew it was the right thing to do internally. DSP got ahead of the crowd, and he came out with a video
What
about
did he
how
say about it?
he said it's not good, and he's not pleased, and he's going to do something about it.
That's the secret weapon.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the real.
You know you're when DSP is coming for you. That's truly endgame.
Is he like known as like a very neutral like fence sitter, or why is
No, DSP is known as like a
DSP
retard.
He's a reformed. He's a reformed lol cow. He used to be a lol cow, but he's made it out. He climbed out of the lol cow hole.
that's true.
Impressive.
Is that real?
I think
He's
so.
not. He's not giving the people that like follow him enough juice to be squeezed anymore. That's the problem, right?
Yes.
Dark Side Phil. That's right.
Yeah, like back in the day, that guy would do crazy shit, and it would be really funny to like make fun of. But now he's old enough. It's like there's not as many moments.
One of my favorite Destiny videos is him talking about it's a buyer's market for cars.
Yeah.
You could tell he was like repeating every single thing that the car salesman had like just told him.
He's like, no, you guys don't understand.
Guys, gap insurance. Oh my god.
That actually is a good question. Okay, you've been 14 years, 12 years. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, like let's just say, I mean, at least 2010 is like when I first reached out to him about sponsoring.
What's the best DGG verse? Like memory. What's like a core
Arc or
memory that
mem-
comes
or
up?
memory?
Arc memory. Like.
I
Yeah.
mean, there's so many things I barely remember that we did. Like we went to f***ing CES like 100 years ago. Do you remember that? Met f***ing Brozel.
Brozel. Oh, I remember Brozel. How's Brozel doing?
I have no idea.
Some like consumer electronics show, I think, in Austin,
Vegas.
Vegas.
That one was. The funniest moments, the best moments, I think they were all like, I mean, we went to Hawaii. We had fun there. Like almost driving off a cliff. That was interesting. TwitchCon, like going to the politics dinner and seeing Mike from PA run at full speed away from
He
us.
ran away.
Yeah.
I was there. That was great.
Yeah.
Wait, he actually ran away.
Full speed.
Physically full speed.
Full speed.
But why?
When Mike and Steven saw each other, they start arguing for like 10 minutes straight at that dinner.
Mike, who?
You argued in person with Mike from PA?
Did I?
Yeah, as soon as you guys saw each other, you started screaming at each other,
Good.
like debating for 10 minutes.
Him.
About what?
Just politics, whatever.
Probably something he's
How
being
long
retarded
ago was
about.
this?
This was 2019?
Were you when?
No shot.
2018? No, it's 2019.
Were you a part of like the Mike from PA Hassan like Destiny friend group at the time?
We
or-
were all chill because of Bernie.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
He's
is
a
before
unifier.
Biden got the nomination. Then they all turned on us. Yeah.
You voted for Bernie.
Oh God, what a great.
What a great time. I remember my favorite part during, like, that was the debate era. People were doing all the roundtables on Twitch. I remember after Bernie dropped, I was like, how's it feel that he'll never, ever, 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 ever be president again? And they would lose their, like, as I was talking to people who are like pro rent control and shit like that, and they were fuming
I like
when you
Bernie.
said that.
I just want to say I voted for Bernie in 2016. I voted for him in 2020 in the primary.
I think Bernie's a good dude.
Who did you vote for in the primary?
Where?
Ron Paul.
In the 2020 primary? What do you
I don't know
mean
if I
where?
voted in the primary.
You didn't vote?
For the primary? I don't think I did. I don't think I cared much.
As long as he voted in the general, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I was gonna support whoever. won.
That goes for the rest of you too.
Actually, if I did, it would have been for Pete. I think Buttigieg.
Pete Buttigieg.
Probably.
Who just had
2020.
an excellent performance after yours.
On the Jubilee.
On the Jubilee.
That's crazy that they got him.
yeah.
Like, I feel like that was so risky for a
Yeah.
politician to do.
Does anyone know, by the way, I'm just kind of curious, this is off the DGG subject, but what happens to Biden if
If what?
Kamala wins? Is like
He dies.
no, I mean, does he like get like does he become like transportation secretary or something, or is he just
No.
retiring?
He's done.
He's it. He's done.
He retires finally.
He's there until January 20th at 12 p.m.
With Jimmy Carter.
He goes to paint with George Bush.
Not even like a honorary VP or something.
There's a nice farm.
I suggested that to Pisco, and he was like, "You're insane." I was like, "Kamala should go in as president, and Joe Biden should be VP."
So crazy.
I don't think he legally can do it
Why not? Also,
because you have to be like the ability to become president again. I think.
didn't he not even want to run in 2020 because he was just like,
Oh,
I'm
that's true.
tired,
That's
man.
true.
So he's gonna retire. He's gonna retire and go where all old presidents go.
Yeah.
On the fun
Will
farm.
he? Oh, and this is gonna fire you up. I don't know what you'll say. I
Oh
don't know what
God, he's
Steven
about
will
to say the most retarded shit in the world again. Oh my God, I know what he's gonna
Yeah,
say.
say it.
I know what he's on.
What?
He's about to do some. Do you think Biden should pardon Trump? That's,
No.
Oh my God, he's on that train.
Hunter.
He'll be there.
Hunter.
Hey, can we just real quick? Can we agree?
Because this is
Oh my God.
yes.
You're a
We win.
spiller. How many times is that in the last
He'll
3
be there.
days?
He'll be there before the election, or not before the inauguration. He'll be there. She should pardon
I
Trump.
got excited.
Can we agree, just real quick? Just let's put this to bed. You do agree?
I spell yes. Sometimes.
No. Man, the jokes write themselves. You agree that nobody should pardon Donald Trump?
I agree. No one should pardon Donald Trump.
Okay, thank God.
But there were two questions. The
Yeah,
first
go ahead.
question was, this is an easy question. Anyone should. This should
It's not
answer
going to
it.
be easy. Josiah, we got each other.
All right.
You trade 100% certainty based on what you know now. Tomorrow, Kamala wins at 11 o'clock at night. But in exchange, monkey paw, Trump pardon.
No.
You don't trade?
Nope.
I trade.
I don't.
I think
I
you
make
got
that-
it. You
I make
need
that
to make
deal.
the
I don't.
trade. Isn't the whole point
You
of the
take a
monkey
40% chance, or whatever you think the percentage chances of Trump.
So number one, I'm not convinced he wouldn't run again in 2028. Number one. Number two, I think we f***ed up 50 years ago when President Ford pardoned
on the states.
President Nixon.
No, for everything.
You can't.
You all
No,
but
it's a makeup deal. You know, it's every
damn,
state.
Dan almost had me there. I was like, wait a minute, I changed my answer.
it's everything.
Yeah.
It's you let him go.
Breaks another law, which he will.
No, if he breaks another one, you can get him.
Oh, then sure, because then the answer is obviously yes, because he'll break another law within like 15 minutes.
Same answer. But never any justice for January 6th or the class.
No, I can't. I think that we
Even
have
for
said,
40% chance, you get.
The definition of conservatism is no accountability and no responsibility. Why the f*** would you give that
So
to him again?
you're not going to take that deal.
No. I'd rather we'll fight.
Yeah, but the issue is like
It
in the
sounds
next
then-
4 years, the issue is not only do you have Trump right now, but you also have a fallen, broken Republican Party. Like the Republican Party itself has to get course corrected.
It's not going to.
So
it's
then
gonna
it sounds
get
like
course-corrected
is he
worse.
that much of a danger if you're willing to?
Way
if
worse.
you-
It's not
40%
At
chance.
some point, it's not about Trump. It's also about the standard it sets. That would have been the second corrupt Republican president who has walked away scot-free for committing crimes because Republicans, not Democrats, who are morally superior, have a uniquely criminal issue.
But that's
Wait,
only
you
because
mean
Kamala
Nixon?
has some chance of winning, and you think she's going to win.
Nixon was a Republican president, pardoned, and got to walk away. Yeah.
If Kamala
Do
were
you think he was
10%,
maybe a good guy, even though he did that? He seems like
Nixon seems
Yeah.
kind of like
Vietnam was
sometimes
a
a nice
mistake.
guy.
What
They
a
called
game.
it.
But
I
it's
mean,
not
he
cute.
created the EPA.
True.
Yeah.
But this is only because you think that Kamala's going to win tomorrow. You really do think that, and I can tell in your eyes you do. But if it were a 10% chance,
No,
of
this is
Kamala
just
winning,
fatigue,
no,
buddy.
but
This isn't certainty.
If
This
he
is
already feels that Kamala's going to win, why would you risk a monkey poll? Which, by definition, means you get your wish, but it's fucked
did you
up.
even know what the monkey poll
No,
was?
you told me, but now you've told me. You get
She
your wish,
wasn't
but it's
listening,
fucked
Pisco.
up. So why
Oh
would you-
my God.
Yeah. What?
I never knew what the monkey paw was, but that's what it means. That's why the forethought would always post the monkey paw meme in Reddit when something good but bad would
You
happen.
didn't know what the monkey paw was?
Now I know what the monkey paw is.
I have no idea what the monkey paw was.
It's like you wish for something and
And
like.
it comes
Isn't it
true,
Gothic
but in the
horror?
weirdest,
Like a
most
reference
fucked up
to
way
Gothic
possible.
horror?
I know
it's
because
not
the
Poe,
Simpsons
but
had the treehouse. All right, this is the
Yeah.
second question. If Biden pardons Hunter, you're going to call it corrupt, aren't you?
That's a hard one.
that is. a
Don't
hard
give it to him
one. So,
immediately. Think
yeah.
about it.
Yeah. So I was very proud of President Biden when he said he would not do that.
An inhuman level of.
Yes, yes. And if he chooses to pardon, what would he be pardoning for? The
Everything,
conviction?
every federal related offense, including tax offenses.
He
Yeah.
should pardon him. He gave up the nomination. He gets one.
He gets a freebie.
He gets
Let me put
one.
you like this. Let
That's
me put
corrupt.
you like this. I think.
That's
He gets to be a good dad. He's got one kid left. Let him pardon
Well,
his
he's
son.
got two. He's got
one
two.
son left.
Yeah, he's got one son.
Girls don't matter.
Yeah. Daughters don't count. Listen, I would say that by definition it is corrupt. I just wouldn't lose sleep over it. You would demand that I like pick it
I would be
outside
like
the White
pretty
House.
pissed.
Really?
Yes.
You would be pissed.
If Joe Biden pardons his son.
You're more supportive of packing the court than you are of Joe Biden pardoning Hunter?
Yes.
What did Hunter even do?
Okay.
He.
Yeah, come
He
on.
took
Pisco,
photos?
he,
I know.
Oh, you didn't read the blurg report? Wow. Pretty bad for you, retard. Oh, sorry, there weren't bridges. Idiot.
He was convicted for tax-related offenses. The tax fraud
Then
related
every
to his
politician should be in jail.
No, I just want to stop him from thinking I don't know what these cases are. I know way more than you do about all these cases. He was
What was the
convicted-
amount again? Like
he was
$150,000 or
convicted
something?
for his Burisma-related income streams in like 2016,
Then Nancy
2017.
Pelosi.
Whoa.
Wait, you're talking about the tax
Burisma-related income streams. Wasn't it just on tax stuff?
I'm telling you the truth. He got income from Burisma. That's what he did not report. I'm just telling you facts.
When you're saying didn't report, do you mean like didn't report the income to
Like
the
committed
IRS?
tax fraud. Yes. That's what
Okay,
I'm talking
when you
about.
say didn't report there, you make it sound like a FARA violation. Was
No,
he charged with
I'm not
FARA?
making it sound like a FARA violation.
Yes? You
At
said he didn't
all.
report his income from a foreign entity. That's a crime to the State Department. It's a FARA violation.
I started by saying tax. I started by
I know,
saying
but you're saying
tax.
didn't report it. I was just clarifying. So now we all know.
Why does that
And
politician
also
keep
for the gun
holding
stuff.
up his dick?
no, I just wanted to argue with you because he has since paid the taxes, he paid the fines, he apologized. I mean, he's the perfect candidate for a pardon.
Can I'm curious here. Don't they, federal judges, when they come to sentencing and they do the sentencing, don't they look at like all this thing, like how likely to reoffend, how serious was the crime, all that
course,
shit?
yeah.
Isn't
He might
his shit going to be
reoffend.
like a 1 on all of those scales, and he's
Yeah.
probably going to get like community
Well,
service?
he is facing up to like 20 years in prison.
I know
not
that.
gonna get that.
No, they're,
Don't
but they
even
judges
risk it.
the judges have to. I mean, they don't have to, but
There's the
almost
guidelines.
there's the guidelines, and the guidelines for him are going to be like 1 year or less.
Well, here's the question: What would he? What is the point of a pardon?
It's because we have this thought process that there ought to be a release valve in certain extenuating circumstances, issues of guilt or innocence.
Extenuating circumstances like being investigated for 20,000 years by an entire Republican Congress?
So was Trump.
Okay, I'm sorry. Hold on. What did Bannon
All
get
my
pardoned?
MAGA people rise up in the chat.
Did the what were they? Was it Blackwater contractors in Iraq that had murdered civilians? They got pardoned, right? By Trump?
I can't remember.
They did.
They did?
Did Roger Stone, the guy who said he wouldn't rat on Trump,
he got
when he
pardoned,
was literally?
But we're not
Bannon
Trump.
did get pardoned.
You're
Wait, did
trying
you
to-
say no
you're
to
trying
that?
to hold us to
I
Trump
don't know if
standards.
Bannon was, but I know.
I do know he
Stone
did.
and Navarro
He was.
were.
Bannon was pardoned.
Wasn't
Also,
Navarro
yeah,
and Stone?
yeah. Was Flynn pardoned?
Yeah.
These
Stop
are guys.
playing this
Hold on.
little
Wait.
thing.
No. I'm just having a conversation with my friend Josiah. Were these guys? Were these guys repentant for what they did?
Not at all.
You
Not
don't really
even
think so? Do you think they'd be likely to reoffend? Do you really think that Roger Stone or Steve Bannon or any of these guys or Michael Flynn? Have you ever read their Twitters? Do you think they would really reoffend?
Steve Bannon has already gone on the record saying that Trump should declare victory no matter
you
what
guys
happens.
Oh my God!
You guys know this?
He'll do that.
It's a really famous movie.
Shut up.
I don't know if you heard about it. It's called Return of the Jedi. And in this movie,
It's almost as good as The Rise of Skywalker.
so you have someone, we'll call this guy Darth Bannon. He's sitting there, lying down there, hand is mechanical. And then Luke looks at his hand and is like, you don't turn into the thing you're trying to destroy.
Wait, what did his hand
You
do?
don't turn into the thing you're trying to destroy.
Okay, so
And you want to turn us into Blue Maga.
listen. So a couple of things. A couple of things. So first off, Return of the Jedi is a movie. Number two, the reason that Luke had to spare Vader was because if he struck Vader down in anger, he would himself be corrupted by metaphysical energy.
Yes, and you want to take...
Well,
You
the
know
Force
what?
isn't real.
Actually,
The Force
I'm
isn't
so
real.
sorry.
Yeah.
I stood here earlier and I screamed that I just wanted to see one thing: a Republican do something.
Yeah.
What happened? Luke got mad. He tried to kill Vader. How was Luke finally able to defeat the Sith guy at the end?
Emperor.
The Emperor. What happened?
Because
Steve Bannon killed- I didn't really-
Vader stood up.
Vader stood up
Yeah.
and fucking did something
Yeah.
for once in his fucking life.
Right.
Where's the Republican lawmaker? Where are
Right.
these guys? Where are our Vaders that are going to stand up and do the right fucking thing?
Yeah.
Liz
Because
Cheney.
if Vader doesn't stand up, what happens? Does
Exactly.
Luke beat the Emperor one-on-one? No, he
doesn't.
dies.
As a matter of fact, Pisco no doubt would be like much like Luke. The Democrats should throw away their lightsaber
Never.
and just say,
I'll never
"Go
turn
ahead and
to the
zap
dark
me to
side.
death."
You failed. No, listen. I think
moral thing to do.
there
Yeah.
is one...
The moral thing to do is just to let the
There
Republicans
is one
do whatever
Republican.
they want. That's the
there is-
lesson of Return of the Jedi.
There's one Republican that I'm calling on tonight to go down in the history books and
And
be,
step down, and that man is Dan Clancy.
no, this is serious. He's out there. I know he's listening. George W. Bush. The time is now. Do the right thing. Endorse
probably
Kamala
a nice guy,
Harris.
Wait, why would that matter? Hold on, wait. Trump people fucking hate Bush.
Dave Portnoy. Please endorse Kamala.
That's the slow
What,
slide.
the artist George W. Bush is going to change some minds? He's too busy
It's
painting.
important. It's important.
George W. Bob Ross has other things that he's doing. Okay? Just
You,
like,
you don't think George Bush sways anybody?
I think
George Bush might
not-
get voters for
not-
Trump.
Not people.
Don't we have an example of this with Cheney? Like, imagine you got Republicans. Oh, no new wars under Trump, and Kamala's like, hey, Dick Cheney is
but Kamala's
endorsing me.
running
Just
with
so you guys
Cheney.
know, Dick Cheney is endorsing me.
I think George
What the
W.
fuck?
Bush's silence says enough.
You know what you could do at this point? You need to get the most evil motherfuckers that there are. Like if Epstein is still alive, you need to get him loudly endorsing fucking
Think
Trump.
that?
It literally doesn't matter. People like Andrew
Nobody
Tate
would
are
care.
like pro-Trump.
Nobody would
Yeah, they don't care.
That doesn't matter at all.
We need to go to jails and find actual pedophiles and serial killers. Be like, who would you
There
like to
are
win?
people that are like Epstein was like decently close with Trump. Like there's
Yes, and
like
actually-
tons of shit. Those leaked.
We just
all
lost
of
Also,
that
to be
just
clear,
goes
if you know
out.
anything about either case, Tate is worse than Epstein.
Yes.
Tate has done some crazy f***ing shit. Like he literally has
At least
like ran like a
He's
whole
at least
fucking
comparable. He's at least
allegedly. Sorry,
comparable.
allegedly. My bad.
Not
There hasn't been a
guilty
special
yet.
prosecutor appointed yet for him, but
I actually don't
Should
know
be
if there's a
Republican who does it,
Republican
by the way.
that stands
absolutely
up.
should be.
Bush is too
We should
old.
bring back George Santos.
I agree.
Bush is old. He's painting. He's dried up.
I almost think the Republicans who know better, people like Nikki Haley, Chris Sununu, Bill Barr, and who nonetheless support the former president Donald Trump, I think they're almost worse.
Well,
I think they're almost worse.
They're scared for
Worse
their
than who?
lives.
Worse than who?
Yeah.
Do you think that's honorable?
Well, I understand why they're doing it. They're scared of what
Weak
the monster
men
they created.
bring about bad
You don't
times.
think that they're trying to pick up the mantle and be an alternative? And be, you don't think Chris Sununu is thinking about being president?
So Romney has gone on the record, like he has explicitly stated that that's why he's not endorsing Vice President Harris, is because he says that somebody has to be here in the aftermath, like once the Republican Party is done with Trump. And I guess
Romney's not.
Romney
He's too
thinks he's
old.
going to be that guy.
He's
Yeah,
not
they're both
going
about
to.
the same age.
I always thought it sad because I thought he looked very presidential. He looked like he should be a president, but
Well,
he's done.
Mitt Romney said he pays $5,000 a day for security, and so he understands why people can't come out against Trump.
Yeah,
not
Liz
everybody
Cheney
can do that.
Also has to have a personal security detail too.
It'll be Vance v. Vivek once Trump is out.
In a
That's
way,
what it will be.
in a way, like, and I guess it's kind of true. Apostates always have it the worst. People who have turned away from, revealed truth or revealed wisdom. The act of Mike Pence, therefore, to say no in the face of everything on January 6th is even more praiseworthy because he destroyed himself, destroyed his political life to save the country. Wouldn't you give him a Presidential Medal of Freedom, Josiah?
for not cooing the government.
Yeah, wouldn't you give it with
no.
distinction?
You no, listen, I give Mike Pence credit for doing the bare minimum and not cooing the government. I give Liz Cheney credit for essentially tanking her political career. But I also don't lionize them. Like Liz, here's my beef with Liz Cheney and Mike Pence.
Ooh.
Donald Trump, to use a Star Wars metaphor, is not Emperor Palpatine. He was not anything he wasn't pretending to be yes, precisely. That is
you
a
were
much
gonna say
better.
that?
No, but she's right. He was never pretending to be something he wasn't. He was just always this malignantly narcissistic, ideologically inconsistent populist who was a doofus. And so they went along with it 4 years, and they, abandoned their principles to raise this man up. The fact that at the last minute they stopped, I give them credit there, but they're not. I don't think they're heroes per se. I think they're on the road to redemption. But no, I wouldn't give Mike Pence a Medal of Congressional Medal of Freedom. Wait, which one's the one that Trump said is actually inferior? He said that one
Don't make me defend Trump.
What?
What?
medal
His
does
statement there
Ellen
was
DeGeneres
fine.
have?
I know what he was trying to say. He said it like a retard, but you know what he was trying to say.
Don't defend. You can't defend it because the fact that he said it so stupidly, I still think merits criticism.
For those who are listening, so Trump said some shit like this medal is better than the other one, and then people are like, no, the other medal is so great. But what Trump was saying was that at least you don't have to die together. So he was trying to say a nice thing, but he's an old man who's retarded.
So you're going to give the benefit of the doubt on that? Do you give the benefit of the doubt on the...
Is he asking me if I'm giving a Republican the benefit of the doubt? He's doing that?
He seems happy about it.
There's a problem with the camera behind Dan.
What's wrong with it?
I think Dan's head is cutting off Pisco. I think it's just Dan's lean.
Oh.
Don't worry. Pisco can lean right like he has been in this conversation.
Oh my God. I think I'm standing for the American way, if I'm being honest with you.
I feel like there is an interesting question, though, because in the war, I could be totally wrong, so somebody's going to jump down my throat in chat, but when French and British were fighting each other, the French were a lot more fixated on certain autistic principles and a lot less pragmatic.
On what principles?
So specifically, they would always allow the nobles of the British to be ransomed, and therefore they basically the British could just drain the French armory. Whereas my understanding, and again I could be wrong, is that basically the British didn't do the same. They weren't willing to pay ransoms. They kept all their money for military.
Which war between the British and the French?
I don't know. Probably all of them. The 100s of them. But my understanding is that to some degree there's and maybe it's just a meme, but there's at least this archetype of somebody who's so autistically principled about something. I mean, there's tons of literature stories about this too, where they stick to their principles in a way that it costs the good of everyone, right? And that's
she's calling you unprincipled.
No. I'm saying, well, sort of. I am saying that there's a time and place where essentially, you have to look at something like the evil Trollocs coming to kill you and be no. I'm sorry, there isn't a certain line that we maintain here necessarily, and the most important thing about the principle has to be the target has to be correct.
It sounds like,
It's the basis of all moral theory, isn't it?
Yeah.
Deontology versus utilitarian ethics, to some degree, yeah. Which ultimately is just virtue ethics is the only way.
Well, listen, I'm not going to name any specific crusades that are happening now, but I see some parallels that sometimes the tactics we use are just as important as the targets. And I think that there's a line that I won't cross against Trump.
Are you talking to Dan?
What?
I am not talking about
Enforcing the law in a timely manner.
Democrat special counsels. What is the line that you won't cross that you think that we will?
I won't break the Constitution to defend it.
Holy fuck.
What was Merrick Garland?
What does that even mean?
Do you think that they would break the Constitution to defend it?
And how?
They're getting close.
What if we even suggested that's even remotely close to breaking the Constitution?
Did you know that Democrat special counsels break the Constitution? Did you know that?
Oh, only the Democrats would know. That's what Thomas said, right?
Yeah, no,
is that his
100%,
favorite judge or is it Roberts? I forget what he was saying.
Back and forth.
True. Okay.
Good
Exactly.
at you.
Yeah.
It's infectious.
Yeah.
I guess like it is truly like that moral quandary of like when does like the monster that you're fighting, like when do you become the monster itself? And
It's
then,
not a
like,
quandary at all. It's very simple. You have to enforce mutually reciprocal moral standards. If they're not being respected, then you have no respect for them. That's so easy. That's the easiest thing in the
You're
world.
going to go after your political enemies when you're the president of the United States, Stephen?
If somebody is not playing by the
Yes
same
or
set of
no,
rules,
Stephen?
you're using a loaded, broad question. Political enemies. What do you mean? A political enemy can be Romney is my political enemy.
Super Chat's asking a good question, Seth Morton, which is essentially like, how do you determine, like, I feel like a lot of, especially our space and our DGG verse, criticized leftists for having bad tactics with the wrong targets. They were psycho canceling people over crazy shit, and we criticized for them for this. And I would argue, rightly so.
No, we criticized them because they chose stupid targets.
That's what I'm saying. So how do you, the issue is, in my mind, is it has to be the right target, but that's like such a deeply subjective line.
No.
But it feels like the leftists would say, we did pick the right target. You're wrong.
Those people are retarded. You can pick, the issue is that line can become blurred, but we're so far beyond whatever a blurred line would be. So I don't actually even care to discuss what would the hyper-specific, nuanced thing be when we're so over the line right now. Like, we're so over the line. 80% of Republicans still don't believe in the results of the last election, and the president himself isn't co-signing it. So wherever we're at is way beyond whatever line they're
I feel like I've radicalized you.
How? No, Trump has radicalized me.
Yeah, but when you're talking about that you have to fight them on their moral grounds, but then when we're talking about the going after Trump, you're just saying enforce the law. So that sounds like you're not breaking any kind of like.
Yeah,
moral...
there's
well,
nothing.
that's really radical though for Pisco. He's not a big fan of enforcing the law when it comes to Republicans.
No, but what did you mean when you said that though? What did you mean when you said that we have to like meet them at their moral standard? What were you referring to there? Because that's not just enforcing the law.
Because
It sounded just like me.
the Constitution.
It sounded like me taking the bait from Pisco. Actually, I'm not actually sure why I even said that. Well, have we haven't. No way. I said it, Josiah. We haven't talked about even doing that at all.
No, not at all.
In my opinion, the most nuclear thing, there's a semi-nuclear thing. We'll call it small tactical nuclear bombs, and then there's a mega nuclear thing. The small tactical nuclear thing would be probably. Not to offend you guys, I don't want to put you guys on the same team, but it'd be eliminating the filibuster.
Oh yeah, we're in favor of that.
I know you guys are. Okay, chill. And then the mega nuclear thing. Oh, you're really lying. Would be packing the court.
Yeah, we're agreeing.
Yeah. So I'll just listen. Here's what I'll say about this. So the filibuster, and we talked about this on Live and Learn. The filibuster is a tool, and hammers are great when they are used against nails, but when they're used to crack a baby in the skull, they suck.
Whoa!
Right?
What
So-
the baby did to you?
So the Democrats use the
Oh, what? You guys are anti-abortion now? How do they abort them? Oh my God. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
So the filibuster was used by Democrats and has been used by Democrats, I think, awesomely to prevent Trump from doing terrible things. It's a good tool. The problem is that, and both sides are
it's
guilty.
good when it's used against people you don't like.
I'm still willing to
Same thing
abolish
with your
it. Would you
prosecution
listen
stuff,
to me?
yeah.
I'm still willing to abolish it because, as a general proposition, I believe in majority rule. And the filibuster, there's nothing constitutional about it.
Agreed.
The filibuster has been weaponized by Republicans in a way that I think even Democrats simply do not. We saw under McConnell, particularly for the Obama administrations, an unprecedented half of all filibuster usages occurred under the 2 terms in Obama compared to the 200
Agreed.
years of American history.
Absurd.
And packing the court, we've done it multiple times. The Founding Fathers, that's the other thing. The Founding Fathers changed the composition of the courts for even political reasons. President Adams shrank the size of the court to prevent Thomas Jefferson from filling vacancies, and then Jefferson was able to change it. So at the end of the day, these institutions are predicated on good faith. And if the good faith is not reciprocated, by definition, you have bad faith.
True.
So, yeah.
But now
Great
you sound
line
like
there.
Stephen from 2023
Great line there.
when he was arguing against us and being like, "You guys want a fascist government when you get rid of the filibuster."
Who
How do I
said
sound
that?
like-
What-
wait,
who
what?
said that? When did I ever say that?
You said that you guys are in favor of like.
Okay.
We have another.
I'm
Hold
just
on.
saying that's Stephen for 2023.
Yeah.
You guys check the tape.
Just because I want to make sure we loop in everyone
sure,
in the
sure.
conversation, obviously, as well. I felt like
Oh,
IRS
me?
meant
Oh, I
jump
want
in.
to say, but okay, if you pack the court, you're going to lose the other half of the country. And if they don't have
Oh
faith.
no, not the other half that's
I'm
voting
just
for
saying-
Donald Trump again.
Well, no, right now, our half doesn't have faith in the Supreme Court, so it's not working. And
It's
then
not
what
just
happens
that.
when the other half doesn't have faith in it? We have
Respectfully,
to
it's
have
not
them
just-
on board as well. or it doesn't
IRA,
work.
do they not? I don't think they already have any faith in the Department of Justice. I don't think any ruling that went against
Well,
what they wanted.
Yeah, I was going
Right,
to say,
thank
hold
you,
on,
yeah.
don't confuse. It's good that you said that, okay? Don't confuse Republicans having faith in the court right now just because they're getting favorable rulings. Because the second the court gives an unfavorable ruling, how many Republicans are like, I think Texas is it Pennsylvania? I think that was decided fairly. No, of course not. They're like, oh, standing. That's bullshit. No, they don't have faith in the court right now.
Okay, so
They just like they're getting some favorable rulings.
How do we get Americans to all have faith in the court?
That's a good question.
I mean, I feel like there's a core question of like, how do you get Republicans to care about principles again? Because it feels like that's what's been lost on Republicans in a hard way. Is they fundamentally they don't care about their principles. They used to be about law and order. They have an actual that is leading their party.
Well,
they don't
civilly liable rapist.
They don't care about family dynamics or nuclear family or respecting the family. They have a guy who slept with porn stars, has multiple wives and multiple children from multiple wives, who also ran Miss America pageant, which is not very Christian, by the way.
Well,
so it's like, which principles do they occupy anymore? And I don't know if there is anything. And so I guess like when I look at this, I don't know how you negotiate terms with individuals who There's no principles that are guiding them. Their principles are I hate trans people and the woke mind virus.
How about we just start with abolishing the filibuster and packing? How about we just leave the camps out of it?
No,
Man, you just go from like 0 to 60.
More practical solution: term limits. Let's enact something like term limits, and that can bring the temperature down, and then we can approach it differently.
The court expansion is not the Supreme Court reform that I'm most interested in. I'm open to it, but I think the Supreme Court of the United States needs to be brought to heel. We are supposedly.
I think there's a huge problem in that the Democrats have used the Supreme Court to bypass the Congress for decades, which has now over-politicized the court, which is why people now don't have trust in it, because all this outsider stuff that you're talking about, where Trump doesn't represent anything Republicans represent, he does represent an outsider who is against this elite that work the system, put it in all the smart lawyers, they argue the cases, it's not about the people and their representatives, they just sneak it in through the courts. So now people have lost trust in the court because it's being used by smart elites to bypass Congress.
Did you say Democrats or Republicans?
Democrats put everything through the court instead of working to get the grassroots support and push it through Congress.
What do you think about that?
Roe.
Do I think that there was?
talking about Roe?
Do I think that there was?
Roe
Do I think that there was
7-2.
judicial activism in the
Roe,
Supreme
Casey.
Court that benefited the Democrats? Absolutely.
Brown v. Board. Sure. Roe. What?
But Roe was 7-2.
What do you mean?
Well, I'm just saying, my whole point is that you guys are going to break it in the other direction, and it's not going to fix it. It's going to feel better. You're going to restore faith for your side, our side, but that's going to lose the other side.
They think. Wait a minute. They think term limits is breaking the court. They think
No,
that.
I don't think so. Most
Wait a
people
minute.
in America support term limits.
Most people also support court expansion. Marquette just did a law school poll. It was like 90% support robust Supreme Court reforms, term limits, Supreme Court ethics, and I think even still a majority support court expansion. But again, I'll grant you that. Let's keep court expansion down the road. There are people who still argue that doing anything to modify or change the court is breaking it, is imposing your will on a coordinate branch of government.
They're a minority, though.
So where do we disagree? I'm just saying.
What I'm saying, you're going to break it in the other direction. So let's
saying
fix the actual
there are
problem.
principles that have to be maintained, and you guys are talking in a way that, like, the issue is that, and I hear what they're saying to some degree, which is like when I hear this type of talk, there's part of me that really agrees, because like when bad things are occurring, you can't go at it with just like a soft stick and principles necessarily. But at the same time, we're like using the exact same line of logic that gets used by evil people to justify increasingly stretching who is a valid target, right? And it's like it truly is. It truly is kind of like the Me Too movement started in a really awesome way. It started with targeting Harvey Weinstein, who there was no way to tear him down. There was no out for the women that he had targeted. And Me Too movement was the means by doing that. But it's evolved now to this degree where, unironically, young girls think that going to social media about sexual assault is a safer and better option than like going through like more legitimate forms of court, which is a terrible outcome of the Me Too. And you have all these individuals that are targeted by it that are probably not the right target. And I feel like any type of like justice aimed movement, which it feels like the culture is burning for justice on both sides, there has to be clearly outlined lines of like where we don't go past from the beginning, or it becomes its own monster.
Yeah, so I take your point that it's a slippery slope and it's dangerous, but again, all the things that have been proposed are, number one, constitutional, and number two, like with the court expansion, which is again the one reform I support, but I support the least. It's been done before, but again, they would say doing anything to the court is breaking it, and this is where I won't speak for Stephen, but I assume he agrees with me, which is that you have to have reciprocal good faith. By definition, if we're having a conversation and you act in good faith and I act in bad faith, by definition, we had a bad faith conversation because it must be reciprocated. And right now, the institutions in this country have been abused by Republicans. And the alternative is to do what? Just let them continue to abuse it?
Yeah, but and I agree with you on expansion, but you're advocating a little bit more than just expansion. You want to overturn Marbury versus Madison. You kind of want to make Congress do these sneaky things like stripping jurisdiction. And
so
is that true?
No. So what he's talking.
So he just lied.
So wait a minute.
No,
wait a minute.
I'm not lying.
Wait a minute. Marbury versus, if by Marbury versus Madison you mean judicial supremacy, which I think is bad faith
judicial review. That's Marbury versus Madison.
So judicial supremacy is what I oppose. This idea that the Supreme Court.
Do you want to overturn Marbury versus Madison?
No, I think that the Supreme Court should be able to engage in judicial review. My question is, what are the other checks? Do you think that the other two branches should be able to check the Supreme Court,
of course,
including the president, Pisco, or is the Supreme Court the president's boss?
No, I don't agree that the Supreme Court should be able, like, above reproach. They absolutely have checks.
So what can the president do against the Supreme Court, and what should they be able to do?
The president has the authority to with Congress, enact.
Fuck that. That's not a check. That's the two branches.
You want
ganging up on the one.
non-acquiescence. You want the president to, at times that you deem okay, to ignore the courts.
I want a system of checks and balances against which the court is also susceptible.
Answer.
I'm asking you what the alternative is.
Do you agree that you sometimes want the president to disobey the Supreme Court?
Of course.
Well, here's a question. Legitimate.
Wait a minute. I'm going to ask you what the alternative is, and you're going to say, well, the president and Congress. So I'm going to ask you, minus Congress, what can the president do, and what should the president be able to do? And you're not going to have an answer, in which case you agree that the Supreme Court should be supreme over the president. You think it should be Congress, Supreme Court, then the president. Actually, you believe the Supreme Court, Congress, and then the president.
I think that the president can implement new rules. As Biden
what rules? What rules?
Biden has tried to, for example, the student loan stuff. He's found other statutory bases. It takes a while for the court to be able to review all these.
Is he really bringing up something that the Supreme Court unilaterally
the executive,
shot
by
down
nature of
without
the
Biden being
executive
able to
power,
do it?
can act faster? And the president has the bully pulpit. He has the command. And
the bully pulpit. So when the Supreme Court justices run for re-election, they're going to get completely fucked.
No,
right?
but the president's job is also to work with Congress. You're trying to remove and take out of its context and say, suppose Congress is also in on it. Well, if Congress is in on it, it sounds like I don't want the president to go against the will of the people in the legislative branch, which is supposed to be the strongest, and the judicial department, which is supposed to be the most neutral. And you want the president to be the king. And that's why I say you're like blue MAGA sometimes.
He's neutral MAGA, by the way. We need to use that term more. Neutral MAGA.
Who's the president right now?
Joseph Robinette Biden.
Why, if I want the president to be king, why, Pisco, would I oppose just as aggressively as you do the Trump v. United States decision?
Because
fuck you.
Because you believe in the character of Joe Biden and you don't think he's going to abuse it.
True, because if he would abuse it, that would be fucking awesome.
But part of me wants. But I heard Dan one time, it was actually hilarious. It was a nice exchange. Dan was like, "Do you think that he should use this special power?" And Dan was like, "Yeah, we should get him to do some crazy shit." And I thought I heard you like partially agreeing with that. Or was I mishearing what you were saying?
You want a constitutional amendment? A constitutional amendment to get rid of the immunity ruling would be Biden ordering Navy SEALs to just shoot through the window of like every Republican constitution. Just like if you guys were really passionate about getting rid of the Electoral College, all you need is one popular vote win from a Republican president with an EC loss, and it would be gone the next day.
Precisely. So
just so you know, you open this can of worms, okay? We were on the DGG verse, and now we've been talking about Biden and Trump this whole time.
Yeah.
How much longer is this going for?
We can change it.
We got a lot of stuff to do still. A lot of testing and whatnot. So I'm just trying to, get a.
We should be done before midnight.
Yeah.
Josiah, who is the person? Who's the person that's supposed to? Because I'm not siding with Pisco. He's crazy, okay? But I'm talking to you man to man, okay?
Yeah.
Brother to brother, okay?
Right.
Binary star systems, okay?
Sure.
Why? Who decides what's constitutional without judicial review?
So there's this idea that's proposed by Michael Stokes-Paulson, who co-authored that.
I'm aware of who Paulson is, yeah, so because I read that whole paper, unlike another person at this table.
So he believes that the three coordinate branches each have their own power and right to interpret the Constitution. So what he says is that the Supreme Court of the United States has the power of judicial review, but what they don't have the power to do is to compel obedience from the president, because by definition that would make the president subordinate to the Supreme Court.
Yeah, but I guess, well... Wait, here's a question. When a preacher tells me, I go to a preacher and I say, can I go murder someone because I really hate them, and then ask for forgiveness immediately, and then is that okay? And when the preacher says, no, that would be breaking the rules of like, obviously in the Bible, is the preacher like putting himself above that by giving you that interpretation, or?
Well, no, because you're free to ignore it. I mean, you'd be breaking the law to do so. But
I guess my issue is that like if the constitutional interpretation was up to every branch individually without a final say over it, then basically
That's
the president
what Trump was saying in January 6th.
The president or Congress could literally say anything, and now there's no check on any of it. So I feel like the Constitution becomes irrelevant at that point.
Stokes-Paulson would argue no, because again, constitutional interpretation under his paradigm would also belong to Congress and the president as well.
Yeah, for them to interpret as they see fit, right?
Right, but the Supreme Court was also intended to be the weakest of the branches, the least influential, the least powerful.
It probably is.
And it is.
It is. It is.
It depends on how you define power, right? So if I can tell you what to do, if I can give you an order, because remember, the Supreme Court will issue, when we refer to the relationship between the president and the Supreme Court, what we ask is, will the president obey the Supreme Court? Obey. It is a subordinate relationship. This is why when you refer to non-acquiescence, so President Lincoln...
When you say obey, that's harsh.
That is...
I feel like it's more, will he accept the interpretation from? Because really, what he's really technically obeying is the Constitution. But you're saying we're trusting the Supreme Court to give guidance on what the Constitution says, right?
I don't disagree with you that that's how the paradigm is interpreted now. I'm just saying that by definition, so there's a British clergyman whose name escapes me, but he's like, he who is the final interpreter of the law is truly the lawgiver, not the person who wrote it, right? They have the final say. And by definition, that makes that person supreme. And so what I'm saying is, this is the paradigm that's been accepted. So a lot of people find it eminently rational. But that's judicial supremacy, where the Supreme Court of the United States can issue orders through court rulings to the president and to Congress, and they're obligated to obey. My question is, what is the check in the opposite direction? So this is my concern. The Supreme Court of the United States are 9 unelected philosopher kings. There are no checks. There are no checks against them in the current paradigm.
I take issue kind of with unelected, but okay.
No, it's true, right? So like
appointed by the president.
Are they subject? But they're not subject to term limits. They're not subject to ethics requirements.
Hey, if you guys are enjoying this, make sure you subscribe. Also, Seth Morton had a question for you guys. Without a political project, is this just numbering angles on a head? Does that make any sense?
Is that a sentence?
I have no idea.
A project.
Is this just not? Is this just numbering?
Without a concrete political project, is this merely numbering angels on the head of a pin?
It's the phrase, yeah.
I tried to write it really fast.
And what language?
I don't know.
You don't understand that?
I don't.
How many angels dance on the head of a pin?
You haven't read it, so Pisco can explain it to you.
It's in the her. It's in the her.
Oh, is it in the her report?
It is. It's in the her.
My bad.
Yeah.
Listen, I think it's kind of self-flagellation a little bit. Like what?
Yeah. No, I understand.
This is
contextually
all fine, or whatever. What's the point?
Yeah.
Why does this conversation matter?
I don't even know how we got here. The bottom line is that I want reforms to the United States Supreme Court. I want to rein them in. Yeah.
In Australia, all of our, please Australian lawyers, I don't know 100%, so don't, but I believe our High Court justices are elected by lawyers, by a council of law
Same
people.
thing in Canada, I believe, or at least in Great Britain.
Look how they're doing.
Yeah.
Do you think it would be better if it wasn't a political decision and if it wasn't
Here's the thing.
industry professionals?
I don't mind the president making the nomination and the Senate confirming it. My issue is, once they're in, there are no practical checks against Supreme Court justices the way they are against any other. Again, Sheldon Whitehouse, when I interviewed him, also pointed out, he's like, there are fact-finding operations against the President of the United States. The President was intended to be the most powerful individual in our government by far.
Oh,
that
you
they're
want an
fact-finding.
FDR, you want a king president.
Well, I mean, technically, to be fair, the Supreme Court is not a court of first review. They do not do fact-finding.
No. What I'm saying, they're not subject to it. So for what I mean is, like, when we have tried to investigate Supreme Court justices, the Supreme Court has no apparatus within the judicial branch to, like, investigate wrongdoing by the Supreme Court. That's why President Biden...
I think there's... okay, sorry. I'll join you on, like, everything. I think you kind of have to have judicial review. Because it's very weird if every branch is running with its own interpretation of the Constitution.
The three of us need to sit down and go through this. It's called The Most Dangerous Branch by Michael Stokes-Paulson, because, again, and I could be a dude just doing a very poor job of articulating it. He says judicial review still exists under his paradigm. It's just not backed by the supremacy of the court.
Yeah, but that's not judicial review. That's everybody reviewing things for themselves.
Right, but he would argue what you're proposing is judicial supremacy. And that's what I'm saying.
Well, they have the final say on what the Constitution says.
But given that the Constitution is the highest law of the land and it's the one that,
They're not writing it, they're just interpreting it.
But
I have a tough question for you, Josiah.
But wait a minute. But again, it goes back to what has greater power?
Yeah, I will.
The people who write the law or the people who have the final interpretation?
I mean, it depends on the law, right? If I write a law and I say that every single gay person in the United States needs to get killed, I mean, that's a pretty hard law to interpret differently, right?
I mean, yes.
And then also, like, who's stronger? Like, the Supreme Court tells the president, you're not allowed to do that. And the president's like, okay, well, here comes the National Guard.
Wait. But that's my point. Do you believe that the president has the constitutional right to disregard an order from the Supreme Court?
He doesn't need the constitutional right. He just needs more guns. Technically, right? Isn't that why the legitimacy of the court is so threatened at every point in time, right? So the court can't really enforce...
So what I would argue, and I think Stokes-Paulson makes the argument much more eloquently than me, is that the president, he interprets the Federalist Papers and constitutional debates that the Founding Fathers intended for the executive to have their own ability to interpret the Constitution. So the Supreme Court, wait a minute, your president.
First of all, there's the Federalist Papers that literally written by Hamilton that talk explicitly about judicial review. So I don't know which papers he's read.
Right, but not judicial supremacy, and that the executive
judicial review as per the Supreme Court. But go ahead. Sorry, finish. Go ahead.
That the executive has the right to refuse a Supreme Court order that he believes is unconstitutional. Anything to the contrary just by definition makes the Supreme Court dominant over the executive. Because if you agree that the Supreme Court, that the president could just say, F you, that's non-acquiescence. That is a right that the president has. If they engage in it and you don't think they have the right to do it, the president is breaking the law.
Do you in Australia, so our courts are kind of in a lot of ways. The Canadian Supreme Court is kind of like known as like the
Hold on. When you say "are," please clarify.
Canada.
Thank you. Okay.
Sorry.
Because our courts are amazing. Sorry, go ahead.
Great. Good job. I'm Canadian. Hi. Hi, I'm Canadian. So they have term limits, obviously, and they're appointed by the Prime Minister in Canada. I'm not sure if it's identical in Australia.
We have an age limit. I believe you have to...
We do have an age limit as well. So they can time out for age. I think they have term limits, and they're typically assigned by the Prime Minister, or they're maybe voted in. I could be wrong about the process there. But one of the biggest issues that the Canadian court has is that they're notoriously cucked to basically culture. So like the Canadian court will never, ever typically have a decision that goes against the like broad general vibe of the Canadian will. And it doesn't, because we don't have like this founding important constitution or document. And so it's led to like a lot of really weird reforms within the Supreme Court and a lot of really, really problematic stuff where it's like our Supreme Court's like, I literally never think about them as a Canadian at all because the Prime Minister has like basically all of the power. And I'm curious, does Australia have the same issue? I don't know anything about the Australian.
Well, we've got a parliament as well, but Mabo, yeah, we've had some really important legal things come out of our High Court. But we also have someone called the Honourable Justice Kirby, who was known as the Great Dissenter. So he often went, even though he didn't like have the rule, he would often write these scorching dissenting opinions because he believed in judicial activism and making decisions. He said you should rule for the future, not for
the case.
Instead of looking at the case and how it applies today and in the past and looking at precedent, you should be like, where are people going to be in 20, 30 years? How will this affect them? So we've had some really big cases go through our High Court, but I still wouldn't say it's as important as our like party politics. Okay. Both stuff is, we don't do litigious.
Can I ask Stephen a quick question? Because I asked Esther.
You're not going to wait for my question.
I asked Pisco this.
Well,
hang on. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. I asked Pisco this, but I'm curious. Under how you conceive the Constitution, what is a constitutional and lawful check the president has on the court? I can't come up with one.
That the president has on the court.
Right. Well, you think about it.
Let me think about that.
Yeah, our understanding of you agree that our notion of checks and balances is that each of the three has checks against the other two. So, for example, the president can veto legislation from Congress. That's a check. The president can unilaterally. The president
nominates justices. The president nominates judges.
How's that a check against the court?
You're putting in people.
He thinks the function is the check. What an idiot. Wow. Yeah. That's actually so cringe.
Stop. Shut up.
Dude, you know it's such an awesome check when you actually give them the job, then you can't fucking do anything when you disagree with them.
You're complaining because the results aren't what you like, and here's the...
Into the straw man. That's the Hassan tactic.
Right.
Hide from your opponent's original argument. And then whatever the A is,
that's okay.
That's what he's doing. Be an asshole.
Because
be an Adrian.
Pisco will never be able to answer that question. He will never be able to answer it. There is no check that the president has that you consider lawful.
So, wait. sorry.
I was just going to tie in. Then, what's your solution to kind of like the Canadian-Australian problem with the court? And I am, just so it's clear, I am literally pulling right from chat with S. Winniger's super chat. That's why I asked it in large part. But how do you balance that of like term limits and all these things kind of making the court so weakened that they're not really operating in the way, like we have a charter. It's not like our court doesn't have a charter of rights or anything like that to follow. So like, what's your solution to offset?
My
the Canadian
solution
problem?
is I would be much more palatable to the idea of the notion of judicial review that I think you guys support if there were other checks on the court. So let me put to you like this. I would be more comfortable with the president having to obey orders from a Supreme Court if there were checks against that court. Relentless, ruthless ethics. Like if you misfile your fucking taxes, you go straight to Guantanamo. The highest level of ethical standards, term limits, potentially court expansion.
Listen, some of these,
and wait. And fact finding, like there are other things too. So like recusal requirements. So if you choose not to recuse, you have to give a fucking 40-page essay about why you chose not to recuse.
Jesus.
Like just there need to be checks against it. I am not comfortable with the current system, with the power and unaccountability they have, and also that the nation's chief executive is obligated to obey them like a serf. That doesn't work for me.
Okay.
If you want the power, the accountability has to go with it.
It sounds like you have some common cause with Brett Kavanaugh because I don't understand why you, for example,
Just the reaction. Is that a new?
Given the scandal surrounding Brett Kavanaugh, can you please clarify? Can you please clarify what common ground we have?
Friends, right?
I mean,
Yeah,
why
drinking
are these,
buddies. Yeah.
Trump is able to argue accurately that he was stymied in a lot of what he wanted to do during his first administration by inside executive actors. Call that the acting attorney generals, call that his own defense secretaries,
Call that the
people,
elite.
the people who didn't want to get him to do what he wanted to do. And he's argued for a unitary executive theory. I don't understand why you're okay with any kind of model of the presidency that allows for an internal check on the presidency. Why do you like have this disdain for Brett Kavanaugh's vision of the presidency and like talk shit about the unitary executive theory then?
Well, there are two versions of unitary executive
That's not my
theory.
hard question, by the way.
Well, no, there are two versions of unitary executive theory. There's weak and strong. This idea that the president is the apex of the executive branch, but that he doesn't, that he is not entitled to literal control over all of its functions. I don't know where I fall on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here's my hard question.
Sure.
Donald Trump wins.
Sure.
He wins a big, beautiful victory. 306, 303, whatever it is, electoral votes. You are a senator or representative in Congress.
Sure.
A freshman.
Okay.
Are you voting to certify his election for president?
Yes.
Why wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Why?
Because unless I had evidence that truly the election was stolen, no, we're a democracy.
But
And we
you
have to
believe he's
abide-
ineligible under the 14th Amendment.
Yeah, but the Supreme Court disagreed.
The Supreme Court only said that they weren't the ones that Congress had to
Well,
enforce
you have to
it.
have enacting
You are
legislation.
Congress.
Now, if I have the option to, pass enacting legislation, like enforcement legislation, I would try to do that.
So let's say you're in the interim. Let's say that you're not a freshman anymore. You're a reelected. If you had the opportunity, would you sponsor legislation to enforce Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, pass it?
Absolutely.
And even though you just had the vote for Donald Trump, make it so that he's not seated for president?
Absolutely, because by then, by the law, he would be ineligible. Yeah.
I think I agree with that.
Yeah.
Finally,
Yeah.
There you go.
some agreement.
But
I should also
it's tough to say.
to me, the question about unitary executive theory to me is the harder one because technically the Constitution confers all executive power to the president. And
Doesn't the Constitution? Fuck, I don't want to agree with him. Never mind. Keep going. Preach, brother.
well, no, they say. I mean, what's the exact quote that the executive power shall be enforced or shall be invested in?
Shall be vested.
Yeah, in the
I think
President of the United
Congress has the authority to create offices and then task those offices appropriately with responsibilities, right, under the president.
States. Yeah,
So-
no, I agree. But those are so-called like.
I don't think Dan's coming back.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, sure.
That scares me
Get
away.
out of here.
Just that way you guys are a little bit less squished.
Yeah.
We can spread out a little bit.
Sanitizer.
Keep going.
No, so so Congress, so my understanding is there's nothing about Section 2 which permits the president to unilaterally create offices, but to the extent that they are fully executive.
Wait, I don't think he can.
That's what I'm saying. They can't.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. So to me, you're citing a different power, which is Congress is the one with the power of the purse and the power to create the structure. They do that with the judiciary too. But those independent agencies that you're talking about, those are. How do you count the FCC? Is the FCC technically an executive branch agency?
It's an independent agency.
An independent, right? So it's not under the executive.
I believe it is.
No, every agency is under the executive branch.
It's under the executive branch, yeah.
Like the Federal Reserve, I know the Federal Reserve, the chairman, they're appointed by the president, but they can't.
That's a hard one. That's complicated. Fuck
yeah. That's what I'm saying.
But the EPA, the FCC, all of the SEC, all of that should be under the.
Yeah, but those aren't independent. The EPA isn't independent.
So they're not separate branches of government, if that's what the question is. So.
Yeah, so I think so some of these agencies, the military is a good example. So the military is technically operationally under the commander in chief, but there's overlap with Congress. Congress is the one that passes the military code of conduct and the Uniform Military Code of Conduct, and they're the ones that funds it. So some of these things are a gray area. But yeah, I think a unitary executive theory is actually the harder question that you asked, because we don't know. We have not drawn that line to what extent the president should have operational control over all the constituent components.
If I'm speaking to real people in real terms, I'm more scared about a president gone amok than the 9 Supreme
I understand.
Court justices.
And I want to be clear about this. I think that the Supreme Court is the looming threat down the road. I don't think that they have the immediate power of the president. I totally take your point there. But I just don't. I think
the Supreme Court, Donald Trump's literal plan under Project 2025 and from Elon Musk and everyone is to ignore the Supreme Court. And he doesn't even have to do that under the Trump v. United States. He could arguably not even have to listen to them because he has immunity.
Right.
The court wants to enforce something, them and what army?
Right. No, precisely. And then the question becomes, does the president, is he obligated to obey the court, or does he have the right?
No, if he just
you
says,
want to give him a theoretical foundation to be, correct about that.
Yes, I am fully aware that
you want to see.
I am fully aware. I am fully aware that what I am proposing.
Are you funded by Peter Thiel?
I
am fully aware that, and Stokes-Paulson talks about this in his papers, that the executive that he believes is more constitutionally sound is extremely dangerous. But again, I don't think you make that concession about the court at all. That's my issue with you,
It's not about what you do. It's about the person who gets into that strong unitary power position.
No, I understand that, but all of this, what goes back to what we said before, all of this is predicated on good faith actors.
Then don't do it in politics. Because people who get into politics are not good faith actors.
I understand.
That's not true. Most people, you have to be.
Not at the presidential level.
You have to be, yeah, of course.
You think Republicans, name 2 Republicans in Congress right now who are good faith?
I think that it depends on how you qualify. Nixon, to some extent,
right now,
thought that Nixon. Hold on. Nixon thought, for instance, that what he did was a crime, and that's why he accepted the pardon. If it was Donald Trump, he would have said, "Why are you pardoning me?"
Richard Nixon has a good faith Republican.
I'm just saying that they're acting as though there are some standards, right?
You are right in that Richard Nixon, when he stepped down from office, actually was very respectable in terms.
No, hold on. I'm sorry. Wait. Don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying respectable, nice, but I'm just saying that. Here's what I'm saying. There's a difference between somebody who steals something on camera versus steals something in secret.
Nixon stole the election by going behind the back in Vietnam.
I'm aware of that. I'm just saying that I'm not. I don't
faith
say
actor. If he even got into office because he fucked with the Viet Cong.
I'm just saying that there are some standards that for a long time people have
enemies and messing with them to get elected is a standard of a good faith politician.
And the Cold War for the United States of America, probably, yeah. Yeah.
But I'm
to
confused.
Be fair, yes.
What's the issue here? I'm confused. Do you disagree that good faith is necessary for the system, or that the system can function in the absence of it?
I'm saying you cannot make a permanent change to a political system that relies on good faith, especially in an industry.
They all do. With respect, they all do.
To varying levels, to be fair. But to varying levels, they do.
Maybe I'm wrong. My understanding is to some degree that the two-party system specifically is kind of assumed that everyone who's a politician is kind of a selfish piece of shit who's going to grift to basically only their voter basis, and their own self-interest is what will help them elevate and respect the people's will. Doesn't that to some degree fundamentally, maybe you would say they're selfish pieces of shit who still are good faith, and by good faith you guys mean follow the Constitution, I am assuming, right? Or willing to play by some of the same rules.
I don't know. Certainly not in the Republican Party now.
No, what do you mean when you say good faith?
Yeah. So in that there is that this idea that they follow constitutional principles, that things are I'd have to give you examples. So, like, for example, the Constitution enables the president to appoint Supreme Court nominees, just keeping the Supreme Court. The Republicans under Mitch McConnell didn't even grant Merrick Garland a hearing, right? That was a bad faith interpretation of the Senate's ability to just deny the president their choice. Like, they had the right to vote against Merrick Garland. They weren't obligated to automatically confirm him. They didn't even have a nomination.
Doesn't the greater
hearing.
include the lesser? I'm actually gonna. I don't agree with this, but I'm just gonna give Joanna's argument. What I thought was, well, what's funny?
Women. No, please give Joanna.
Yeah. So she said, "What about Bork?"
Oh yeah. I just
Robert Bork. Yeah.
Doesn't the greater include the lesser? If you have the ability to deny, don't you have the ability not to give a hearing? And isn't the premise of our saying?
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
I think that's a great question. You're right. I disagree, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
Okay. So wait, you're playing the devil's advocate and saying that simply the ability to deny a confirmation also must include the
Deny
power
a
to
nominee.
deny
includes
a hearing.
Yeah. Why not?
Then what would make the president's ability to nominate a justice any different from mine? I can also nominate
Suggest
a Supreme
it
Court.
publicly. Yeah, why the
I
fuck
can
not?
also from DGG right now.
the
I
Senate-
nominate.
The
Yeah.
Senate couldn't take it up. They can't take up your nomination.
So
That is a distinction, and I just
so
told
that
you.
the fact that they are outlawed from doing so.
They literally.
But what's the practical difference?
I don't know how to answer that. I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Well, here's a question.
yeah.
Here's a question. In 2016,
2016.
did you get to nominate any Supreme Court justices?
didn't.
Okay. Did Obama?
Yeah.
Oh no, he didn't.
Well,
Not
he
really.
nominated. He just didn't
Well,
have the
sure,
hearing.
yeah. So you guys both got 0 hearings. So
Right,
there
exactly.
you go. Yeah, there you go.
What's the
Why are
practical
you so
difference?
shit.
aggressive?
What's the
What?
practical
No,
difference?
I'm just saying that there is
Yeah.
you cannot foolproof a system against bad faith actors. This is literally impossible.
You can't have guardrails.
Yeah, you can have guardrails, of course, but like the guardrails are only like we push beyond the guardrails at this point.
Right, the guardrails are not divinely crafted nor enforced. You have to have people comprise them and maintain them. The guardrails for Donald Trump's first term, for example, weren't just the courts, but also the people in the executive branch.
You know what a really good example of? I will shut the fuck up so fast, and I will be the number one Pisco worshiper, okay? If you can find me some powerful Republicans, not the ones on the way out whose careers have been destroyed, okay? Give me the equivalent of a Gore concession.
Yeah.
Holy fuck!
Al Gore?
Denied his recount?
I can't
Give me
give
the
that to you.
equivalent. Give me something even remotely equivalent. My God! Remember, these disgusting fucks were arguing for a January 16th vote certification date, and Gore was trying to remain within the December 14th elector certification. Like it's
Why are you yelling at me? Al Gore did something very noble, and
I'm just saying that those are examples of where the system that is an
That's an example of
unbelievable
good faith.
amount of good faith.
That's an
because he
example of
could have
good faith.
fought that so much harder.
Yeah.
And the Republicans even said it. Eastman and all them even said it. It's like, yeah, this fucking retard thought that December 14th was the cutoff.
Is it even good faith, or is that point like is Al Gore kind of retarded for not actually?
No. That's an example of. That's an example. That's an
Sweet
example.
young lad who should have pushed harder.
No. That's an
Was
example
he within
of.
his legal rights to push harder? Though?
Yeah, but no. It's the law is whatever. The point is that that's an example of like I really disagree with this fucking outcome and it's super fucked. But I cherish and I value the system and our rules and regulations and norms so much that I'm going to go ahead and
You think George
bite
Bush would
the
have
bullet
done
on
the
that.
same thing?
Would George Bush have done the same thing?
You guys don't care.
Wait,
for
what do you
George.
mean? What do you mean? Do the same thing? Like,
Like, would he have honored in the way that?
I just want to soften my claim and say maybe there are some good faith people, but not enough that you can have a strong unitary president.
Yeah, listen, there's no doubt that would be incredibly dangerous. The reason that I am articulating the position is I think it's actually just more constitutionally sound. I want to be very clear. In many ways, it would be more dangerous than a powerful Supreme Court because the Supreme Court wouldn't command the army or the military. But this system, I just keep going back to, it's predicated on good faith. And when you have unaccountable bad faith actors, that's a problem. That's my issue with the Supreme Court. I would much more agree with your notion of judicial review if you would co-sign other checks against the Supreme
The last
Court.
thing I'll say, I have a lot of, and then we can move on to it because I know we've been beating this dead horse, is as much as I criticize the Supreme Court, when Trump was trying to overturn the election in 2020, they were a guardrail. They rejected his efforts.
Have they surprised you at times by not being a guardrail? You didn't expect
Yes.
the Trump immunity decision.
I expected them to come to where Amy Coney Barrett's opinion was. I didn't expect what we got. That was bad. Not going to disagree with you there.
Right.
But when we needed them in 2020 and the chips were down, they showed up. The federal courts too.
And just because you get your people on there, Josiah, doesn't mean it's going to work out the way you want. Ketanji Brown Jackson sided with the conservatives to dismiss the obstruction charge on the January 6th case. Yeah. So, you could. I just say my whole point with all this is like these fixes you're proposing. I don't think it gets to the core of the problem because.
Well, this is why I think it's important. So, two things. One, I think term limits are a no-brainer. I've never heard a good argument against a term limit in my entire life. And it's not, the important part isn't the term limit. The important part is just ensuring that every president gets one pick.
Yeah.
Because this fucking crazy lottery of it is not impossible right now. We're looking at like a 15% worlds where Donald Trump has 6 Supreme Court judges. Yeah. That's ridiculous. Okay. No, 3 is ridiculous.
Right.
3 is ridiculous.
Right.
2 is a lot. 3 is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So term limits are okay.
Yeah. Again.
But I don't know if anybody, now that I think about it, does anybody have a check or balance on anybody that's not just the function of the government? Like, what check does the president have on the legislature?
Veto. Yeah, no, I mean.
Well, but I mean,
but it's.
They can just overvote him, right?
Right, right. Well, that's because we actually don't have 3 co-equal branches. We're supposed to have congressional supremacy. This idea of 3 co-equal branches, it's actually nowhere to be found in the Constitution. Congress is always supposed to be the final hand on top against all the other branches. You veto me, yeah, but in theory, I can override your veto, and you can't override my.
But that's not the world we live in, right? Right now, you would trade both houses of Congress to have Kamala Harris be the president.
Right, because there's more concentrated authority and more concentrated agility.
You would trade both houses, complete control of Congress.
Okay, yes, I'm going to wrap this in 1 minute because I want to make sure there's 3 people at the table that have not gotten a chance to speak very much, and I want to pull them into the conversation.
For sure.
True.
But anyway, that was a fascinating conversation. I feel like, Josiah, we disagree on a lot that people don't see because we're both kind of center left, and we have this podcast where we just talk about.
I don't know. No, Josiah is center left. Pisco's become neutral MAGA. He's up. He's been talking to too many far righters. Something's going on over there.
It is nice for us to get animated sometimes on things that we disagree with, so I appreciate the opportunity.
Look at that.
There we go.
So sweet.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. My finger got stuck.
Irrelevant. How's Darius?
And what are Darius's thoughts on the Supreme Court?
I actually had some input, but you guys had good energy. But the input that I had was, it does feel like, particularly you two, have like a lot of energy that sounds like you're pushing back against like MAGA abuse of, well, primarily Donald Trump's abuse of like everything that he can get his hands on. And you kept implying that like we got to play dirty, and it sounded like you said that we got to play dirty. So from an outside perspective, you ain't no shit about this.
I think the issue is like coming back to your England-France analogy with one that people can actually understand. Like, it's like Batman, okay? It's like it sounds like
this is why
you guys
think
want
we hate
Batman to kill someone, and Peacekeeper's like, no, you shouldn't break the rule. But I don't understand what fucking rule you think that the Batman's breaking.
Well, the problem is their language sounds like
they're going to throw
they sound like Batman
people
off
the
bridge.
Okay, Pisco said something incredibly intelligent. Okay, not Pisco. I'm sorry, Josiah did. You definitely haven't said anything. Josiah said something incredibly intelligent. Okay, and he doesn't even realize how intelligent he is. Josiah said that the Star Wars films are movies, okay? Which means that the end is written. The end is exactly as the author wants it to be. The future of our planet is not written. There is, I don't know if I was talking to Kyla or if it was somebody else in the studio, and I asked him a question about if they'd ever seen like fucking Rurouni Kenshin. You ever heard of that anime? Any? Fuck all of you young fucking children or whatever, okay?
Keep it in Return of the Jedi. No.
But basically, there's a frustration that I have with some anime, and maybe you could even actually throw this over to Batman, to where you'll have this protagonist, and the protagonist never kills, okay? But luckily, the protagonist's antagonists always somehow manage to kill themselves or get permanently locked away, like in Arkham, whatever, Asylum forever.
In Batman, isn't Joker always getting back out? Isn't that like
part of the purpose? Because if Batman kills the Joker, then he's the same as the Joker.
Which is so stupid. Yes, but that's...
Yeah, but...
No. It's not him being the...
No. Yes, welcome to fiction. Yeah. But, like, let's say that you're somebody who has, like, 20 million family members who are killed by the Joker, and you're like, well, at least Batman didn't kill the Joker. Thank God.
No, it's not satisfying, but...
Well, wait a minute.
It's not that it's... No. It's not that it's not satisfying. It's that it's morally bankrupt.
Well,
Would it have been noble for us to sit out of World War II?
Wait, so you're saying, sorry, Riley, and then I will let you. You're saying that if somebody kills your family, you should just do terrorism, you should just kill people?
I'm saying that when somebody comes up to kill you and you kill them, you guys aren't doing the same action, and you're pretending you are.
So you're
No,
saying...
it's not. You're just as bad as him. It's that Batman is he's not like the law, right? It's not his job to actually make judgments
so he
over.
just beat the shit out of
It's
you
not
and
his
whack you
fucking
up?
job to make. Yeah, well, but the idea is that he's trying to say that we don't want to live in a world where vigilantes, like people like Batman, can just go and kill someone because they think they're going to do more damage in the future. So he's trying to set like a rule. And if you
that's
break the rule once, you'll break it again and again and again. And what if you get it wrong and you kill the wrong person? That's the lesson they're trying to say.
Wait a minute. Whose side are you on? I'm so confused here.
Who's on my side? Wait,
I
who's
still
me?
can't.
Can we...
I still can't figure out what's the equivalent of what these guys are asking for to you, Pisco, that is Batman killing someone.
I don't know. Listen, I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Right. Fucking job.
So obviously
I
that's
was bringing
not
up the
because
Star
you're
Wars
saying
thing
that's
as a
within
joke.
the rules, right? And obviously I think putting in term limits, how do you even do that? Would that be like a congressional act?
Well,
or
arguably you'd need an amendment for that one.
an amendment.
Yeah.
So you need
Now,
2/3 and then
I wanna hear
3/4 state.
from
Okay,
Riley
that's
about
not.
how unhinged you guys
Also,
are.
wait. Just to be clear, you wouldn't need an amendment. You could just adopt informal rules in the Congress where you just impeach them every term limit, right, or whatever. Yeah, there you go.
Wait, Relly, why were they unhinged to you?
Well, just from an outside observer standpoint, even with the analogy that you drew, even in your engagement with the Batman stuff, it sounds like you're saying we're going to fight fire with fire. That's what it sounds like.
Okay. As a
I'm not
long
wrong.
time,
I'm not wrong. Every single person who
let me find
doesn't
one that'll
know
hit harder
exactly-
for you. As a longtime
Okay.
Finkelstein fan, let me talk about the Nat Turner slave rebellion, okay? How did you feel about those guys that killed all the slave owners? They killed their families, too.
Well,
That was pretty
I
bad.
don't think killing people is inherently bad. Nobody thinks killing people is inherently
True.
bad. That's a dumb. Yeah.
No, but the issue is that here's the problem: is you have a reciprocated set of rules, and it only works. And the goodness is only derived from the fact that you are upholding this system of rules. And as soon as somebody is outside of that system, they're incompatible with society. They are to be eliminated. We literally have built all of criminal law around this.
Yeah,
the
but
government
that's
can
law.
take away
Yeah.
your rights if you do bad things that we've decided are bad. And we don't have anything.
Neutralize.
Neutralize. Well, no.
Yeah.
You have the death penalty in some states if you break the law bad enough, right? Yeah. So we already made that decision for some things, but we haven't for like these core constitutional whatever amendments. But I'm just saying there's no virtue in being a pacifist when an army is coming to murder your entire neighborhood. It doesn't. There's no virtue in that.
But Pisco isn't asking you to be a pacifist.
Yes, he is.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
Well, even still, if we agree with everything that you just said, what is your solution? What to do about that? Make that analogy.
At the very least, don't bend over backwards.
Well, I'm not
to
talking about
acquiesce.
the least. I'm talking about what.
Well, that's what he wants. He wants us to bend over backwards.
Well, to
He
be
wants you to not
perfectly
kill
fair, the
Joker.
only
No,
thing that I heard from these two were
No, he
the
wants
thing
you to
that I
not
heard
kill
from
Joker.
these two was
killing
actually
Joker.
No,
Nobody's talked about that at all.
Yeah, the problem is,
Yeah, but
I'm
you're
not
making it
hearing-
sound like that. But what you're saying is actually we're doing the opposite by not enforcing the law in Trump, because you'd think in a fucking democracy, you would think in a democracy or a democratic republic that if you try to fucking coup the results of an election, you shouldn't be allowed to run for office again. You'd think a functioning system.
You
would do that.
weren't allowed to run. Oh no, wait. I'm sorry. That part of the amendment doesn't apply anymore. My bad, because the court got rid of it. My bad. Wow. And what does that mean? What does that count for? Who the cares? No offense, but who are you? Who are any of us to disagree? That doesn't matter what your opinion is.
People disagreed for decades on Roe v. Wade. People disagreed. I think you actually even disagreed for decades that Roe v. Wade was the right thing to do.
It might have been not the best legal decision, but it was a legal decision when you stand by it.
That decision by itself generated such animus and energy on the Republican side because they said this is judicial lawmaking at its worst. That was their argument.
Bull! Oh my God! Hold on. I'm sorry. Do you think he believes what he just said? Do you think that the judicial lawmaking? Do you think that that's what Republicans actually cared about, or do you think they're just mad as fuck about abortion? What do you think, Josiah?
I think it's probably the outcome, not the process.
True.
You I mean, really?
Yeah.
You think that there were? So you don't think?
Wait a minute. By definition, it must be the outcome, because if it was the process, then we wouldn't have Trump v. United States, where they engage in their own activism.
What did they say about Roe? Kind of looks like legislation. They've got whole different categories of things, like core power.
Right.
Wait. What article section was core powers? Where did that come
It
from?
would be article doesn't.
Oh,
exist.
it doesn't exist.
yeah.
Wait. Who else had absolute immunity in the United States from criminal prosecution ever? In any?
But it was the law of the land. It was the law of the land, and you guys who want to be consistent, you're the ones here on behalf of that right. You're saying vote for Kamala Harris, but if you're going to be like, I don't know if you're taking a position that you're against Roe v. Wade legally or something. Is everything okay? Okay, cool.
Not you.
Me? All right. If you like Stephen believe that Roe v. Wade was wrongly decided, why are you sitting here being upset that it was overturned?
Because there's a concept called stare decisis that has to do with maintaining, especially watershed rulings that other rulings are based out of, and that there are going to be plenty of judges that will look at prior rulings and they will revisit those rulings and they'll decide if they feel like they were decided fairly. And generally, if they've stood the test of time, then you rely on the, as Gorsuch so eloquently put it, the flow of time and the judicial wisdom that goes down. Because I like him as a writer.
You're a Gorsuch guy?
Yeah, I think his writing was good on stare decisis. Yeah.
Well, I'm just.
Or you could also be voting for Kamala too because you believe that legislatively Roe should be codified.
Yeah, you could just believe in the thing.
I feel like what hasn't been engaged with is Loner Box's question, which is essentially, Pisco, you have to tell them what is killing Joker, and they have to make it clear how they're not.
Okay, let me make this as simple as possible. This is what Josiah and me want, okay? This is what Josiah and me want. Me and Josiah, okay, want to not to be raped, okay? And here's the issue.
Indeed.
How many people need to consent to sex for it to be considered not rape?
2.
What if one person just consents over and over again?
No,
then it's just rape.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the issue that we're having right now. We don't have a democracy or a functioning system when the Democrats are the ones that are coming over and over again saying, please, we'll play by the rules this time. Well, Kamala Harris is going to put a Republican in her cabinet, so we'll be so nice to you. We'll have our own special counsel to go and fuck over our own president, and we'll wait so long for Donald Trump. Give me a fucking break.
Show them the way.
They've seen the way.
Here I go.
What good does it do for us to take their position and just abuse the other side?
Well, for one, maybe Donald Trump would have seen an actual fucking federal courtroom. Number one, maybe that'd be okay.
That's what it is.
Yeah, to stand trial for crimes you've been charged with. He says that's where it is. Like he's making a big point about how I want to enforce like the rules on the books.
Just to simplify what's basically happening is that Pisco is saying that fucking putting Trump and going after Trump before the election is killing the Joker, but Stephen's saying no, that's actually within the system.
If the basis of you being upset with the Justice Department is they didn't get a trial before the election, it sounds like what's motivating you isn't justice, it's politics.
Do you think if this was like a fucking drug lord or something, would the DOJ have gone after Trump? Would Trump be in a courtroom now before the election?
He would be. First of all, he's been in a courtroom. He was convicted on his New York crimes.
Oh wait, that is at the very least. Pisco's right there.
Alvin Bragg.
Wait. Did he get sentenced for that yet?
No, because the presiding judge believes that Trump v. United States implicates.
Oh
sentencing.
shit! There's not even a sentence. Wait, really? That's crazy. Okay, sorry, my bad. I was just checking. Go ahead.
It does implicate, number one. It does possibly implicate some of the.
Then why did you bring it up?
No, because he did see a trial. He saw a trial and he was convicted, wasn't he?
Who cares?
He's not satisfied.
He hasn't been sentenced with anything yet.
So now the point is
to follow. Well, wait. Hold on. You just listen to what you just said, okay?
Yeah.
Mr. Rising 4L on your whole new world of fucking law right now, okay? Right? You're like, there's a fucking convicted murderer, okay, who's murdered 50 million more people. And I'm like, bro, why the fuck isn't this guy in jail yet? You're like, he was convicted of the crime. Isn't that enough?
But you know that he's going to get tons of appeals. He knows this is going to be an appeals.
Yeah, let him appeal from prison, okay? Like every other high risk, flight risk.
This is Trump derangement syndrome.
Oh my God.
This is Trump
Neutral
derangement
MAGA. Oh, I got it.
All right, MAGA chat, I need you to rise up. I need you to rise up for me.
Would you please answer his question? He's been asking for 20
The question
minutes.
is, what is the equivalent of killing the Joker in this game that we're playing? Is using political influence to guide your justice, Department of Justice decisions. You should not let the influence of politics be guiding like how fast or how slow you're bringing a case.
In your neutral legal opinion, do you think Trump committed an insurrection or
Yes.
Okay. Do you think people who do that should be allowed to run for president?
If they're a previous oath taker under the Constitution, I think that they're not allowed. You're asking me my policy preference. I think that the Constitution strikes a good balance that you be a previous oath taker, and so I'm okay with that balance. So no, I think that they shouldn't be able to run for office if they're a previous oath taker, and Trump was.
So is there something wrong with the system that we haven't achieved that result, that we've had 4 years and he's able to run for office?
Yeah, I think there is something wrong with that system when the Supreme Court interprets some parts of the 14th Amendment to be self-executed and, randomly article or section 3 is not self-executed. And I think that that's a problem. And it shows that the court is, I think, a little bit politically biased. But that's not a reason to burn down the court.
So, but an attorney general just going after him within those 4 years before the election, isn't that, so that would be achieving like a your what you say is your neutral, like legal.
Yeah,
opinion, right?
I support Jack Smith's indictments. I think IRI does too. We support the actions by the Department of Justice. We think that they've been fair and balanced. I think that they've actually been. The one critique is I don't think that Jack Smith charged insurrection. I think he should have charged insurrection. That's the one critique I have. But that's not based on like.
Charging it, that would have been another 8 years to Merrick Garland's investigation.
And the idea is you should probably be able to do something like this within 4 years because you've got 4 years before the next election
They
that they can
tried.
run for.
They tried. I mean, they tried to take. What do you mean? They tried.
That was a sprawling investigation. Do you know how many rooms Mar-a-Lago is? It took him a long time to
now
go
we're
through
talking
every
about
single.
Jan 6. Now we're talking about Jan
I'm talking
6.
about Jan 6,
So who's
yeah.
playing fast and loose?
Whoa.
Wait. But you laugh that it's taking too long.
Hold on. Hold on. Jack Smith's indictments, one of those was Mar-a-Lago. Thank you.
Yeah, but we were talking about the insurrection.
We don't know what the DOJ's been up to. They may have
Nobody
prevented
does.
20 terrorist attacks.
losing
They
his
may
mind.
no, they may have. Who knows?
What do you mean? We know they've got
Hunter.
Hunter Biden. They did her report that he loves. It's his favorite book. He reads it every night. The DOJ's been up to all sorts of fun things. Okay.
Well, in all fairness, the Hunter Biden thing was going on for like
See,
5+ years.
The proof
anyways.
is in the pudding, and I have to say, I don't criticize Stephen a lot. Actually, I do. But
Fake news.
you have.
You know what? They were so busy hitting Hunter Biden for the federal with the felonies for the $150,000 in taxes, they didn't even have time to charge Roger
Listen,
Stone, who committed $2 million, $2 million
that-
of tax penalties, and he lied that he hid another.
They
They didn't have
charged
time for
Roger
this.
Stone.
No, they didn't charge him with a crime. They made a deal with him for him to pay it back.
That's for the tax stuff, but they charged him for lying to the.
Oh, the stuff that Donald Trump pardoned.
Here's the proof in the pudding.
Sorry.
The proof is in the pudding. Stephen has no interest in the Her report. Stephen has no interest in the facts surrounding Joe Biden's mishandling of classified information. He doesn't care. If this were Donald Trump, he'd be all over it. But the truth is, sometimes you have some blinders on. And I think that even me, I am as pro-Biden as they come. I think Biden is the best president in our lifetime. And when I'm giving you a signal and saying, hey, you guys are going 2 steps too far, maybe even 1 step too far, I'm not willing to go with you on getting the president to just ignore the Supreme Court all the time.
What's the appropriate number of steps? Can we? That's the.
I'm going to be here to rein you back in because I don't because it really does sound
I
sometimes.
understand.
Oh my God! Do you know what he is? He's the Adam to our Sitch.
You're comparing me to Adam. You're comparing me to Adam.
Talk about MMT.
Adam friended.
Listen, I want to know what's the
By the way,
appropriate.
I hope this.
I just want to follow up what I was asking earlier. So
Yeah,
it
go
sounds
for
like
it.
if the DOJ went after Trump for January 6th like too quickly before the last within 4 years,
Yeah.
you think that would be like an overstep because it's them acting too politically?
No, I don't think that necessarily would be. I think there's a reasonable bound of when they could have done it, and I think the decision fell within that bound. I don't think that it would necessarily would have been political to bring it that early, but there could have been some drawbacks to not having your ducks in a row. If you charge too quickly, maybe you don't get on board Cassidy Hutchinson. Maybe you don't get on board all these other people who were integral to some of the theories of the conspiracy. There are 3 different
In a sense,
conspiracies
it
alleged.
kind of it almost has that because the problem is though is that you can say that you're not like pushing a boundary by taking your time or not being so political, but then we're already pushing a boundary because now we have an insurrectionist running for president.
Okay, but now the problem is. Your problem is that that he's running for president, and it's a political problem. It's you don't want him running for president.
It's a political problem now because it's no longer a legal problem because they got rid of the part of the amendment that made it a legal problem.
I don't
It's
agree
my
with that.
neutral
but that's-
legal opinion that I think, which I think you agree with, isn't it? That insurrectionists shouldn't be allowed to run for president.
Yes, but just because I believe that doesn't mean that I think that I have the power that it should be guiding the prosecution, which is separate, I think, from the.
But isn't the system
I thought
already
that was
broken?
just like facts, though.
Isn't
like,
the system already like broken? Like how? Like essentially, isn't the system already not playing ball as they're like saying? And there needs to be a strong course correction because an insurrectionist is running for president.
Or put
which is
another
this.
way, do you believe anything that results in tangible action?
He has been charged. He has faced.
Fly over that fucking table right now.
Listen to me. This is an unprecedented indictment of a former president. They have fought tooth and nail to the Supreme Court. How many hours? How many briefs? How many interviews? How many pieces of evidence? Look at the filing they just had, and you're acting like they're doing diddly squat. They're trying to get him. They're trying to.
You know what would have been interesting? You know what might have been? If we could have seen the same action that with the same aggression, you know who the special prosecutor should have been against Trump? Should have been fucking Comey. Because when that motherfucker found emails and shit for Hillary, this dude was doing a press conference at 2 a.m. By the way, reopening the investigation. We don't know the fucking about. I want to see some shit like that for Donald Trump. Not 3 years fucking later where it's like, we're gonna.
Comey didn't charge.
No, he didn't, but we still got all sorts of crazy. What?
Jacob Keaton, thank you for the $50. Did you guys see that Trump was just endorsed by Joe Rogan?
Yeah, that was like 2 hours ago. It was the least surprising thing ever. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Wait.
It was the whales.
Kyla, I actually saw an endorsement that asked Pisco and Destiny to kiss. I just want to know if
I don't think it's fascists.
Oh my god!
Homophobic.
Say it's a joke.
Pisco
No,
would
he's
take
more of a social fascist, right?
Pisco leaning in would take forever. It'd be the Merrick Garland approach, where it's just like
You guys are like if you talk to any Republican, do you have any Republican? You do have Republicans in your life, so you know. You have a family that's MAGA.
yeah.
What would they think if they saw you right now talking about ignoring the courts?
They'd be like, "See you at Thanksgiving," because this is what's gonna happen right here. All this shit. This is.
I think that
You remind me actually of my MAGA uncle. So
I think I
much.
love it that Pisco's defending
This
the
is
standards
dress
here, and,
rehearsal.
even though we disagree, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, you're both going in the camp at the same time.
Wait, whose cabinet?
No, the camp.
The camp. Listen,
It's a joke about appeasing fascists.
We're fighting against Trump. We're doing so hard. And like, no one's been more against Trump than I am. I'm just saying, I don't want my Department of Justice to be sort of motivated by political.
Isn't it like that the
considerations.
classic moderate line? Nobody's more for Biden than I am. Nobody's against Trump more
you
than I
guys-
am.
Like, I think that there, like, we should be in favor. If we followed your approach, I don't know who would be, like, I don't know, would it be some talking head on MSNBC would be our like attorney general, and they'd be,
I think that's exactly what Josiah said. Anderson
like Glenn-
Cooper, or who was the one lady? Yeah.
Rachel Maddow.
yeah. Like, what more would you have wanted? You would have wanted.
How many times did we say
An
it? Just Merrick
indictment?
Garland to.
Yeah.
How many months?
I want
How many
somebody.
years?
I want somebody with a prosecutorial temperament who was.
What
not,
does that mean? I don't even know what the hell that means.
Don't
Was
you
it 13
ever.
months? How many months was it between the documents? What's it called? The documents and
The
the
National
people,
Archives?
yeah, the National
Yeah.
the
NARA,
National
yeah.
Archive, yeah.
Yeah.
How many months was it? 13 months before their request, between that and the FBI indictment?
It's probably a bit too brisk for
No,
Pisco.
so you guys don't even know the timeline. You guys don't even know the timeline.
I'm sorry, was it 12 months? Oh, do you want me to look it up?
It was less than a year since the referral to the FBI, and the FBI, it took some time to get the subpoena. Once they have the subpoena, they needed to get evidence that he was obstructing the subpoena. And I think that before you have the subpoena, you probably don't have good enough evidence on willfulness. I'm just being honest.
Okay.
And so from the subpoena until when you have the actual indictment, it takes time to gather evidence, time to get people, time to get recordings. I mean, they have recordings now from, you've heard the tape.
I've answered every question you've asked.
Yeah,
and
what-
I'm going to ask you
yeah.
both again. Okay, you all critique my position. Fair enough. I want to know what your position is. I want to know what you say. Okay, if we enact Supreme Court reforms, it's going to break it in the opposite direction. What's the alternative?
The alternative is what Biden proposed, and you proposed as well.
Yeah.
Code of ethics, which can be done through Congress, and term limits.
And overturning with an
Why,
amendment.
what's the value of getting rid of the filibuster and packing the court? And then somebody, let's say the
Okay, but I agree with all that.
well, but what's
Wait,
the
you want to
value?
pack the court?
yeah.
But why? Because let's say 3 of them drop dead that we put on there, and then all of a sudden some conservative president gets to put.
I agree with some of what they're saying in terms of tit for tat, because I think that the failure to give a hearing to Merrick Garland served as a kind of court packing.
I got one for you. Okay.
Wait, before you say that, can I just clarify? Term limits would need 2/3 of Congress and 3/4 of states, right?
So
There's a sneaky way to do it.
Yeah.
So not amending the
Oh,
Constitution.
that's removing the jurisdiction. Yeah.
Well, no, it's sneaky. But I don't know if I want to tell you guys, because then you guys will be into it.
Well, I think Sheldon Whitehouse talked about this, where the idea that they technically remain on the court, they just like they're
so you
repositioned.
pass a law
Yeah.
to get rid of the seat that they're in.
Yeah.
They don't have. They're still a justice, but they don't have a seat on the Supreme Court.
So is that a simple majority in Congress?
Yeah,
In theory, yeah.
Okay.
And then
No
you
shot
and then
would
you
that work.
and then you pass a law to re-add a seat, and you need to seat someone in the new seat. And
Well,
yeah.
and
Wait, that would
is
fail
that-
because that would probably wind up before the Supreme Court. No.
Well,
technically they can
who's
review
ruling
any- yeah.
on if they passed a law to get rid of your seat. Why do you have a seat? Why can
but
you?
then-
Oh, is there a little
Supreme Court would rule on it,
asterisk?
right?
Is there a little asterisk next to judicial review? Can judicial
Well,
review
I'm
not,
just
not
these
cover
are the
that?
kind of questions that you want I guess, some percentage of the Supreme Court to deal with. I mean,
Well,
these
again,
are the constitutional crises that you want to
Sheldon
give us.
Whitehouse has discussed that you don't even need to take the seat away, that you would just basically, I can't even remember, Supreme Court emerita or whatever, they're shuffled to a different court. They still technically get their salary, they're still a Supreme Court justice, but they would no longer be presiding over cases
Now, is
of
that good
constitutional
faith,
review.
Stephen? Is undoing a seat by congressional statute and then re-adding it the next minute and putting your own people in the position, what do you think would happen there?
I don't think Josiah's seriously suggesting that, right?
No,
think he is.
that's Supreme. Well, no.
Would you agree with
there
that?
he is.
Well, wait a
Not
minute.
suggesting
You
that.
proposed something
Yeah.
that Sheldon Whitehouse has never talked about. I don't even know if that would be. How would that be legit?
How not? You agree that Congress can add seats and they can take them away, can't they?
Can they take away from
Historically,
from-
Congress has made the number of Supreme Court seats lower and greater.
I thought that they just shrank the vacancies. Did they remove sitting Supreme Court
The
justices?
Midnight Judges Act under the so-called Midnight Judges Act under John Adams, as you mentioned,
Okay.
Jefferson by statute.
I thought that shrank vacancies, not kicked sitting justices
It
out.
kicked. I believe it kicked city.
Maybe you're
judges
right.
He
out.
said, I
Yeah.
believe. That means he doesn't know.
I'm
Push
not
it.
100%
He doesn't
sure.
know, yeah. Push
No,
it.
but maybe you're right.
I think the
Yeah.
case is called Stewart versus Laird. I think that's the case that
Yeah.
decides
He
on
doesn't
the
know how
on the,
Stewart's
on the re-
spelled.
on the repeal on the repeal of the Midnight Judges Act. But
So can I ask my question, which
Yeah.
was, let's say we have a Republican president and a Democratic Senate, and a Supreme Court vacancy occurs. Okay. Would you allow a Republican president, after what McConnell has done,
no,
to fill a,
sorry.
Go
Yes,
ahead.
easily.
You would?
Yes. Why? Because the Senate should review. Well, we have to lead by example.
Okay, that's a bridge too far for me.
Wow. Look, if these were all good faith people that were involved in this current system, would you support it?
Yeah, I would be fine with the system if it was actually the good faith was reciprocated. Sure.
Okay, so I
But it's
think
not.
And you know what? You know what I would even go? I don't know if Josiah would follow me here, but you know what I would even go as far as to say is, I would say, if at least the cocksucking fucking pieces of shit that came out publicly,
Homophobic.
people like
Just like a son.
yes, like Lindsey Graham, the people who were like, well, if this ever wound up in front of us and it was Trump's final year, we would never. If at least those motherfuckers had abstained or voted no, then maybe I would go along with it. Maybe.
That's why I'm saying where it comes back down to this tension is, it seems to us
This
that
is dark.
people.
I feel like we're doing some evil shit.
Here's the frustration. No.
Evil is when you don't give a Republican a Supreme Court
I don't know,
justice.
I see you.
It's
The
very
problem is
dark.
that they don't think anything evil is happening. They think right now it's kind of really kind of weird and that we want to do evil shit, but they don't acknowledge the evil that's all around us. That's the problem. We're surrounded by demons.
To be
Pisco
clear,
is
the
becoming
reason
one of
why
them.
Anybody thinks you guys are doing evil shit? You guys are using some of the most loaded language, especially you. You are using some insane. It sounds like you're just like, yo, when Kamala gets in, we're gonna do Trump but blue. That's literally what it
Like,
sounds
meanwhile, what did
That's
McConnell
what
say?
it
What did
sounds
McConnell
like.
say about
I don't
Obama?
even-
I'm gonna make him a
One-term president.
wow. And what did McConnell do? How much roadblock in between everything? No Supreme Court
Unprecedented.
justice.
Yep.
Holy shit. Yeah, but it's like, well, but you guys said this thing, and that sounds like so much fucking worse.
Yeah, I just don't know how we ever dig out. I just don't know how we ever dig out of this hole unless we are prepared to get more, and it doesn't require unlawful action, but just more ruthless.
We're gonna get bad.
How about just a little naughty?
We gotta get
How about just a
naughty.
What if there's a world, follow me here,
Yeah.
what if there's a world where the Supreme Court justices, okay, where the Republicans get a nomination, we don't fill it, and they're like, wow, this felt really bad. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe this isn't the way to go, because this actually stung, right? Maybe.
Kind of like with your Electoral
Because
College
the only
example.
thing that you can say in a counter to me, okay, because your counter argument is
What I
that,
would say was WWJD.
Okay.
What would Jimmy do?
what would Jesus do?
What would Jimmy do? Jimmy Carter.
Jimmy Carter?
He's looking down. Well, he's alive.
Still here.
Chill.
No, he's
looking
basically
up.
looking down at you.
What would Jimmy do?
First of all, my mom called him turn the other cheek, Carter. Okay, so you know where I came from. Okay, so no. So okay, the issue is your counter to that is going to be if you do this to the Republicans, they're just going to strike back, and then we're going to say the Republicans are already there. They've been there.
They hit us first.
They've been there. They've been there.
Hasn't the
No,
strike
I-
back been going back and forth for like ever?
No, there is no fourth. Sorry,
There's fourth.
there is no fourth. Just back and back and back. Just.
But wait.
What?
But you want this to stop, right? You want this.
Yes, but right now, here's the issue. If you were a Republican, you would be a fucking idiot to play by the rules.
Of course.
If the Democrats are going to roll over and get fucked every time you walk into a room with a heart on, why wouldn't you keep fucking them? Okay, that's the issue.
But Republicans continue to push, and they're starting to pay a price. Why?
What? Sorry, where? Pay the price where?
Electorally.
Where?
Yes.
Electorally.
They could be out of
Barely.
power. What if they told you that what they're doing now is going to get them out of power for 20 years?
We'll see.
Okay, but there was a period
We'll
in
see.
time where the Democrats controlled the House for like 40 years.
Well, what am I supposed to? For how long ago?
When they were racist.
No, this is up,
Hey!
up until the 90s. It was up until the 90s with Newt Gingrich when he came back. So I'm just saying, sometimes they can push things so far that it leads us to be into power and then implement a bunch of good stuff. Otherwise, it's kind of like a standstill where nothing happens.
I'm going to make a clip of this, okay? And when I'm being executed by the new Trump government after he wins, I'm going to be playing this over and over again on my phone before they shoot me, okay?
Do you have any last words? Do you have any last words? And he just plays IRI's clip in front of the
You think we
mic.
lost 300,000? Sorry.
I'm just saying, listen, fuck these guys. Why should we let them make us do bad things?
Yeah.
Fuck them.
Because they're destroying our country.
well,
Wait, hold on. Off of that, what bad things are you suggesting we do?
Yeah, true. Actually,
I
you're right.
have not heard
Irrelevance
from
is
either one
finally,
of you.
yes, that
It
is
has
true.
been
Thank you,
so
Irrelevant.
constant.
This is the issue.
Pisco
What
does
bad
this.
things?
He's using Nora debate tactics.
This is the issue, right? Is like when you guys talk, it literally sounds like you guys are being like,
Yeah.
we have to kill Joker.
Yes.
But then we go, how are you killing Joker? You're like,
I'll give you
guys are like,
really
wait. You guys are like, term limits for the Supreme
No, we
Justice,
agree
and
with
you're
that.
like, that's not
No,
killing.
this-
But you
he
haven't
said-
answered.
okay,
you
I'll
haven't
answer.
answered what's killing Joker, other than they should have sped up the Merrick Garland bullshit or whatever.
That's a really good question. Where do you get that one from?
So I don't know if you.
That's why everyone thinks we hate each other, by the way.
Okay, sorry if this wasn't clear.
Good.
You might have missed it when Josiah said the president just tell the Supreme Court to fuck off whenever he wants. I mean, you must have missed that when that was part of the conversation. He said non-acquiescence. That's his way of saying the president just tells the Supreme Court to fuck off.
I'm telling you to fuck off. Answer
Hey,
the question.
do you think that that's like?
Why are you
the Joker?
filibustering? I'm abolishing your filibuster. Answer the goddamn
Wait, what was
question.
your question?
Wait, to be clear, Josiah was suggesting that under like a whole other theory of
No, he
organization of
wasn't.
government.
Yes.
Yes, he would not. Yes.
Yes. So I am talking about the Michael Stokes Paulson, the Michael Stokes Paulson paper.
Paradigm.
Yes.
The paradigm.
That
What does
he
that mean?
argues that it's more.
What do you argue?
It's tough.
Yeah, because you won.
Wait.
Oh, he's hitting you with a
I
citation.
cannot believe
Wait
you
a
just
minute.
said that.
He just Goodwill Hunting
wait a
you.
minute.
Are you
He's
giving any
literally
original
Goodwill
thoughts?
Hunting.
So wait a minute. You're asking me to choose if I'm happy.
Choose
If
me.
I'm happy, I'm not choosing you. As a
Love
matter of fact, speaking of choosing Pisco, there's still time. Okay, there is still time to revisit. So you're asking me to choose between a Supreme Court
Or a Supreme President
or
for
a
life.
renegade president. I think both options suck, and I'm trying to figure out which one is more constitutionally sound. Which is why we can sidestep this whole thing. If you want a paradigm in which the Supreme Court issues rulings and the president and Congress obey, I told you I'm fine with
Ethics.
that. Term limits.
But that's Biden's proposal. Wait, so then
relentless term limits. Higher term limits.
So that's Biden's proposal.
Like
I don't think you're going to
4 years
find
or
much
like-
disagreement. We don't think that
What do you mean
Biden's a
relentless?
radical.
When you
Then
say
what are we even
relentless,
arguing again?
I'm literally, I'm gonna. Okay.
It sounds like you guys agree. You're just really
It's just another
Here's
6-hour
the issue.
Pisco argument.
Okay, it feels like you guys are saying these two are fucking soft as fuck. How are they soft?
They say that we're fucking crazy.
How are they soft?
They're
How are
soft.
these two soft?
They're soft
Well, wait a
because
minute.
over the past like 25 years, Democrats have made amazing and insane concessions to Republicans, while Republicans are fucking them over.
I am losing
Time
my
and
mind.
What?
Name
So what should Democrats do differently?
Name one thing.
Sure. Okay.
that they're soft on.
Sure. Look at the difference between the treatment of like Mueller versus the Ken Starr investigation. I'm naming it right now. I can't even finish.
Okay, please. Go.
Ken Starr went on a 4-year fishing expedition to find something wrong with Bill Clinton, and finally found the Monica Lewinsky thing, and all the Democrats applauded and they said it was fine and that's okay. Mueller uncovers like credible shit relating to Trump. Trump literally stymies and attacks that investigation at every single step of the way, and nothing happens to him.
Okay, hold on.
That's a different thing.
He's saying that the DOJ should be more fucking aggressive in pursuing Trump.
Okay,
Wait, nothing happens to him. Is
that it?
He's about
they
to
just-
lose.
I'm saying that when the Department of Justice, in Pisco's world, when the Department of Justice is prosecuting a
Pisco's
Republican,
world.
they go, well, we need to be very sensitive so that we're not doing anything politically crazy. And when a Republican establishment is going after Democrats, it's like, how do we fuck these guys up as hard as we possibly fucking can?
And you want the Democrats to do the same thing.
Within the bounds of the law, fuck yes.
Yeah, and what did the Ken Starr investigation get the Republicans?
They disgraced Bill's record, I guess, and they got him impeached or whatever, and that was like a big deal and all that bullshit or whatever. Maybe.
Yeah, but he continued to be president and still well.
Yeah, but wasn't that he was in like his last? Yeah.
So just to be clear, they're soft because the DOJ is slow.
No, it's not
And they're
slow.
willing. They're willing to
It's
allow them to be
selectively slow.
It's selectively.
It's selectively slow.
And that's why
it's
they're soft.
selectively
They,
slow.
so
That's the only major.
Here's the
change.
difference is that Trump's DOJ, okay, Trump pardoned
hours.
every single fucking
hours,
crook
actually.
around him that was supporting his bullshit,
Yep.
and Biden's DOJ convicted his own fucking son of some crazy crimes.
Yep.
That's the difference. In Donald Trump's world, his DOJ is never doing that. And Pisco's like, that's so fucking great, Daddy Trump. I'm so glad. And then when the Democrats are doing it, they're like, why don't you charge his other son with some fucking crimes too? I'm sure he did something. We got to be better than them.
So wait, what's the
dead.
what's the solution to that? To not pardon?
The solution
to pardon his
is when
son?
Republicans fuck up, throw the fucking book at them. Be a harsh judge. Go after them. Be a good prosecutor. Do your
What-
fucking
be
job.
a harsh
Do your
judge?
job. Do your job.
Be-
That's it. Do your fucking job.
You do it faster? I
No,
don't-
you do it.
What is do it?
What do you
As in, you
What
don't
is
wait.
do it?
You don't
Sounds
wait.
like faster.
As in, when NARA sends you a request for documents, when they say, hey, we think you got a bunch of like classified shit.
Yes.
Can you send it back? You don't wait 9 or 10 months before you're like,
So it sounds like
But-
a speed issue. It sounds like a speed issue.
it's not just a speed issue.
Okay.
It's a
It
speed
is.
issue that's allowing him to run for president
Okay.
without ever having seen the inside of a federal court.
Okay, so
That's the issue. It is a speed issue, yes.
well, you can say, well, that was the point of contention I kind of wanted to get to, because I know you said something earlier where it's like, hey, we're allowing this person who is doing something.
When
you
it
know,
was
potentially
when it was
illegal.
about Hillary Clinton,
That's
hold on,
crazy.
wait,
I'm going to
no,
finish though.
Okay.
So
Go ahead.
you're allowing a president to be able, or somebody run for president who you guys all agree is doing something, unlawful, right?
Yeah.
So should the DOJ go, hey, this is a person that might not be eligible for being the president. We should expedite our investigation, potentially fuck it up
Yes.
in order to be able to get you.
So
you would
what
say
you
yes.
just said, hold on, I just want you to know what you just said. Pisco, acknowledge this. What he just said is exactly what happened with Hillary Clinton and Comey. That's exactly what happened.
It was wrong.
Then no, say it. Say it was exactly what happened.
It's not quite, but
He's trolling us. He came here to troll us.
it's not.
It is exact. What did they say? What did Charlie Kirk say that was retweeted? It was the same shit Trump said on debate stage. You should. Why are you going to vote for somebody who's under FBI investigation?
Oh, yeah,
Why do we even know that?
100%.
Because they expedited the investigation as quickly as they fucking could. They announced everything publicly. They announced they were reopening it. They announced when they closed it. They announced when they didn't have anything to announce. Comey was out. Comey came out and he was like, just so you know, Comey came out. The same thing they did kind of with the fucking her report. Comey came out and he's like, hey, just so you know, we're not going to recommend any charges, but let's tell you like all that kind of the weird shit that we found anyway, just to like, cause fuck Hillary and fuck the Dems.
The only difference is the last part where there's no evidence that they expedited the investigation, the initial one. It's the second one. It's the one where they announced it like days before the election, and which we all acknowledge was a big fuck up.
Well, I was going to say, so is your
That arguably cost her the election.
You acknowledge it's a fuck up.
for an expedition of the investigation in order to.
I'm advocating.
He just put himself in a trap.
No, I didn't. I'm about to get out of the trap. I'm about to get out of the trap. Ready? I'm about to get out of the trap. Ready? Ready?
And he knows I'm about to do it.
What I'm saying is I'm saying that it just needs to be the same rules. That's it. So if they're going to do it, then you're going to be as aggressive with the law.
We're
Sure.
against Comey, and so we should be consistent.
Hey, what does that matter?
Wait, hold on.
It doesn't matter that you're against Comey. Hillary still lost the election. Comey still made the announcement. And they're going to do it again if they have the opportunity
Well,
to.
so the idea is, if you're against it, right, you have a reason to be against it because.
Yeah, the reason is so they don't do it to us. But if you're gonna do it to
That's
us
the
anyway, then
only
fuck
reason?
it.
That's the
If you
only
have,
reason?
if we agree to have a fucking fight outside,
Yes.
okay, and we say no weapons,
The reason why no weapons is because I don't want to fucking kill you, bro.
and you don't want to get
That's what
killed, and you don't want to get killed.
Yeah, well, yeah, and I don't want
Yes.
to kill you. We
So,
just
if,
wanna
but if
have
you
the right
find out
to-
that I'm gonna bring a knife, are you gonna not bring a knife so that I don't bring
I'm
a
just
knife?
not showing up.
No, wait.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not showing up.
But that's not. But that's the problem. But kidding aside, that's not an option. It's tit for tat. It's game theory. At the end of the day, if Republicans believe that they can act with impunity and that they can behave asymmetrically,
Yeah.
and Democrats give them no reason to believe that we will match their energy or at least step in that direction, they will
Isn't this the
continue
trap
to do
again?
so.
Yeah,
It's
so
not a
here's the
trap.
trap
So
again.
then it's
Well,
exactly where we started, where it's like you guys are blue MAGA. You're like, okay, they're doing crazy shit, so we're gonna do crazy shit. We're gonna do crazy shit. That's literally what you just said. Tit for tat. We gotta play. We gotta fight back. That's what it is. I'm not even like super educated on this shit. All I'm saying is
There's
what
a
you
way.
said.
There's a way off
What's-
the blue MAGA train, which is that you have to set really clear lines about who gets to be targeted for very, very specific things. So if you drew the line at being like, I would not be okay with this in any other instance, but with an insurrectionist who won't get named as an insurrectionist, then that might be off of the blue MAGA train, because a big part of the blue MAGA train is it doesn't seem like there is a clear ending point. It's ascending and collecting as much power to Trump for as long as possible.
Yep.
Whereas in this difference, not that I'm trying to make your guys' argument for you or anything, but in this case, I think I could be wrong, but it seems like you guys have one target and one target alone, which is Donald Trump, the insurrection.
Well, no, that's
Derangement syndrome.
Whoa.
yeah.
Listen,
Maybe
I'm
if
not
somebody
even-
makes
I'm not
half the
even-
country crazy, regardless of which side is crazy, maybe
Just-
that's a problem, and we should think about that.
Just
I'm
to
just
bring
saying.
it back, I'm not saying that, to use the analogy, killing, right? I'm not saying killing is wrong, killing being using crazy tactics. I'm not saying killing is always wrong, right? You can defend yourself. And I'm assuming that's the position that you two have in this context is it is self-defense is what is happening
Yes.
here,
Do you
right?
think that we should ever nuke somebody?
Yeah, of course, we can. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, you were supposed to say no. Generally, we don't want to nuke someone, right?
No, we can. We absolutely can. Yes.
First use. First
Generally, we
use.
probably shouldn't nuke
Okay,
people,
generally,
right?
you
Yes.
said can.
Okay,
yes,
but
we
should
can.
we nuke somebody?
No, probably not.
Should we disarm all of our nukes?
Yes. Everyone
no.
should.
Yes!
Nuclear defense.
No! Everyone should.
Yeah.
Should we unilaterally do it?
Destiny.
Sorry.
Spikes of space.
Should we unilaterally do it? No. But right now, he wants us to unilaterally disarm.
You're not. He needs something to hold in his hand.
Yeah, it's gonna be Pisco's neck.
Have something to hold.
I have a question. You keep on. So you're talking about the Democrats not being aggressive enough. Do you worry that the only kind of Democrats who would be aggressive enough
MAGA
would be the kind of people who would be more extreme on other things that
crazy
you would
left.
be
Absolutely.
uncomfortable with?
100% they are. Yes. That is
He's
objective.
upset. What's
for you.
wrong?
Like
Dustin.
What's wrong?
We're advocating for center-left Dems to be extreme right now, okay?
Oh, the centrists are going to be.
There is a world. There is a world. Ha ha ha! You laugh as the centrists were destroyed, and that's where the Nazis came from. By the way, was literally the destruction of the fucking Social Democrat Party. Okay, but the reality is, okay, the reality is right now. Okay, even if they went too far and fucked up a little bit, it's still better than when you have a guy who literally had to get the Constitution rewritten to run for president again because he's a fucking insurrectionist.
You just
okay?
said the last time centrists went hard, it created Nazis, and that's also what you want?
No, I'm saying that them not going hard
Them
and
not
saying
going
like,
hard
yeah,
created
and allowing
Nazis.
all the crazy shit for the other
What
people
we're
to go.
saying is
Yes.
there's a world where central libs have a backbone and aren't fucking pussies about everything, which is what they are right now, which is why, first of all, leftists are popular with anyone who has a backbone, particularly young people.
Leftists don't have the majority of the party, though.
They don't have the majority of the party because most people grow up, have kids, and then lose their backbone because they'd rather keep financial security for themselves than like fight for things that
Leftists
matter.
don't care about this stuff, though. Leftists think that we have Trump deranged syndrome.
Sure, but the issue is that at least they're agitative and willing to fight.
Yeah, but I feel like that we care about what Trump did. And a lot of leftists, and I have to say, Stephen for a little bit thought that January 6th was no
The
big
issue
deal.
is, can't you have center left people with good balanced principles also take from like the populace or whatever group you want to label them as and be a little feisty, because you shouldn't just be the example.
I'm in favor of being a little feisty.
What do you think serves justice better? Okay.
Yeah.
If Donald Trump's case was moved along a little bit faster, or if Donald Trump wins the election and dismisses the case?
As between those two options,
Yeah.
moving the case faster.
Would better serve justice?
Yeah.
Okay, so isn't that kind of like the two options that we're potentially looking at?
What
But
if
once you start down that road, if you consider it, where does it end?
Which road? So do we go down the road where we allow them to dictate everything, or do
now
we
you're
go down
saying
the road to where we have more
the
agency?
Justice Department should be looking at Trump's character, his statements, and be like, oh, because we have the knowledge essentially that he'll shut us down, we need to move faster to prevent that.
Do you think that the Justice Department, do you think that they would give 10 months to anybody else for classified material?
I think for the president, yeah, I think they would give.
He's not the.
He
For the
wasn't. He was a former president.
No, given the statutory requirements of willfulness, I think that it's not unreasonable the amount of time. I think it's unreasonable what Trump did, but given the high level of proof that you would need to show willfulness of a former president, it's going to be a high standard. And the fact that you waited that long.
I'm curious, just
So
because I'm not a
I'm
lawyer.
going to say
When you say former
as
president.
quickly as possible. So the former presidents and former vice presidents, like Biden, like Trump was, are immune to classification rules. That means they have a plausible basis to say. And NDI. This applies to NDI.
You know what's?
too.
You know what I just
This
realized?
applies to
Wait.
NDI too.
You know what I just realized? The investigation into Biden finished before fucking Trump's investigation, and he did it fucking first. What the fuck? And we got a full ass fucking
If you wanna
report
blame someone
about
for
it.
that, blame
We got a
Eileen.
full ass fucking report. What the fuck?
Blame Eileen Cannon. I'm telling you truth right now, which is former presidents and former vice presidents, while they're in office, they are immune to the rules related to NDI and to classified information. They just are. Read the Her report. Read the.
Wait. Former vice presidents are immune to.
Sorry. Currents are immune.
Was Trump the president?
No,
when
he wasn't. No,
then what does that have to do with anything we're talking about?
Asshole. Let me get it out. So, as a former, he has a plausible case to say, I thought that I was allowed to do this, because the prosecution needs to prove beyond a reasonable doubt, not just that you knowingly withheld it. You knowingly withheld it, and you knew it was
Sure,
against
but
the
maybe
law.
instead of waiting 10 months to refer to the FBI, maybe they could refer to the FBI in like 1 month.
They referred to the FBI as soon as they got the documents.
Which took them like 9 months.
Okay, but it took a while for NARA to get the documents. At that time, there's not a basis for an investigation.
Why
just
did
yet.
it take 9 months?
Because Donald Trump and them were busy hiding his shit around all over Mar-a-Lago and figuring out what he wanted to keep and what he didn't want to keep. Well, he was telling his employee to hide it from his other employees.
How is that possible? How is
Because
it
Merrick Garland is a spineless hack. Fuck.
How is it?
At that time, NARA
I want
doesn't
you
know.
to answer though.
Yeah.
How is it possible that the DOJ couldn't just basically tell Trump, being like, "Hey, fuck you, turn in the documents, like turn it in"?
Because at this point, it's just a dispute between NARA and a former president about which documents are presidential records and which are personal. That is normal.
This happens a
Oh,
lot.
no. That is not
It
normal.
does.
You're dead wrong.
No, he's
You're
right.
both wrong. It is
right.
normal that there's a negotiation afterwards where stuff, because a lot of stuff will get retroactively classified. You might,
No,
whatever.
we're not talking
There
about
was stuff-
classification. We're just talking
Taking
about
home stuff.
presidential
Yeah,
records.
yes, that happens.
Yeah.
It's not normal
Wait,
to
no,
wait
no.
10 months for a response and to tell your employees to hide shit around
willing
one of
to
your
bet-
15 massive
I'm
mansions.
willing to bet this happens all the time, where they reach out and they go, "Hey, I think you got some stuff." It's like, "Oh, look through the boxes." It's like, "Okay," and they just go through the motions.
And they wait for almost a
Why
year
would
to
they
give anything
assume-
back.
Why would they
it's
assume that he's
classified.
hiding stuff and he has all
I don't
these
think
secrets?
you would. I don't think you would assume that after 1 month. Maybe after 2 months.
feel like if
after
all-
3 months, 4, 5, 6. I don't know. I think at some
What?
point you're like, it's kind of fucking weird.
But NARA followed up on it, and they pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed until they finally got a bunch of boxes. And at that moment, when they saw the classified documents, instantly they referred it to the Department of Justice.
It feels like so insanely long.
Instantly, after 10 months,
It feels,
instantly.
it feels insane.
But you're accusing the DOJ of being slow, right? Like, look at this. You're accusing the DOJ of being slow. Until they get the referral from NARA, how can they be acting slow?
How long after? Well,
Right,
Nara
but
should have
also-
reverted faster
wait,
then.
But also, the DOJ's not thinking something nefarious is going on. I know it seems like it, but
should be.
They received a box. It's got some stuff mixed in it, classified documents.
NARA
I was like,
does.
whoa,
nine or
whoa,
10
whoa.
months later.
Okay, but
NARA
they're-
does. NARA
Right.
gets the box. They're like, whoa.
How long? Once it was for the FBI, how long was it for an indictment?
They had it. Well, first they got a subpoena because you need to prove that they know it's illegal and unlawful to retain it.
Well,
the NDI.
And they gave him 2 months, I think, to comply with the subpoena.
Yeah, and so they talked out, and then he purported
2 months?
he purported to comply with the subpoena. Subpoena might take a while to comply with you. They're asking for every single marked classified document.
I feel, it feels
So
like
they
a,
asked him to turn it over voluntarily.
Wait. It feels like a high priority. If
Why are you
somebody's
making us defend Trump?
like, I don't know.
Why are you so eager?
It can take weeks to do a document
I
review.
could be
It can
wrong.
ju-
Do
it-
therapists get like weeks and months to like
Guys.
subpoena their case notes, or do they have to turn them over instantly? And aren't they
It
required
takes
to?
a while to do a document collection and document review and to produce the documents.
And
It
also,
does.
they're not thinking he's
How long?
doing
Wait,
something
wait.
nefarious.
How long was it after Biden's reporting his own document to NARA, whatever? How long did it take for a special counsel to be appointed?
He was appointed
Was that in a matter of
same
weeks?
day.
Same day.
as.
Oh.
I
Did
think
he
it was
just say the same day?
It's very close in time to the Trump one.
Was all of this after January 6th? Just,
Yeah, it's all
just so
after
I
Jan
understand.
6th.
So in what world would they give him any level of like best faith interpretation, like at 3 months and 4 months?
wasn't
and, like,
he wasn't
shouldn't Nara
indicted
have been-
yet.
Shouldn't he have been pushed way harder for like?
Why?
Because isn't it a little bit sussy that the guy who did
Insurrection
J6
guy?
isn't turning over the
You have to follow rules of procedure. I
It's
just-
NARA though, isn't
Hold
it?
on. To be clear, there's
You can't
nothing.
be like,
They
I
could
don't
just
like
indict
Trump.
him. They could just indict him. What do you mean rules of procedure?
For what? For what? For what?
It's fucking probable cause.
For
For stealing the documents. It's probable cause. You don't need 99%. You're not doing the criminal case
you're
yet.
gonna indict the former president.
The guy who just did the insurrection? Yeah.
for
Yes.
just
Yeah.
stealing documents.
The guy who just did the insurrection? Yeah.
for like petty theft.
The guy who just did the insurrection? Petty theft is stealing classified? No, that wouldn't even be the indictment before.
At the time that he's like not giving it everything to NARA, at that time, what's the basis for indictment?
Yeah.
Because he's a fucking asshole.
Yeah,
He's
that's
orange.
exactly. There we go.
You would follow up on the documents faster than 10 months. Faster than 10 months.
No, but after the referral, they issued a subpoena. I mean, I don't know, within weeks.
I'm curious. I am
believe
curious
it's,
here.
you know,
So
weeks or months.
the way you said indict him for petty theft. Again, you're the lawyer here. Here's where I'm confused. Are former presidents obligated to follow every single law I am?
Yes and no.
He doesn't want to walk into your trap, so he's not going to answer that.
Yeah.
Some former president, there are carve-outs for different stuff. I'm not going to pretend to speak to everything, but in general, they're private citizens and they're subject to all the laws. Yes.
Cool. So why should there be any consideration, to any indictment ever, that they are former presidents?
Because as I'm trying to explain to you, the classified document, the Espionage Act statutes for which he would be eligible for indictment require a standard of willfulness. And because they were president at the time the documents were absconded with, there can be a reasonable argument that he thought what he was doing was authorized.
Let me rephrase the question. Okay, so it sounds like you don't think that necessarily they could have charged him
I think the obstruction stuff, once he obstructs, that's proof that he knows it's illegal.
Right,
and that's what's necessary for the willful
I understand,
retention.
but I'm hung up on petty theft because you made it sound ridiculous that we would.
That's a reference to the time period in which he was not complying with NARA, and Stephen seemed to say, "Why don't the DOJ should indict him?"
No, I understand.
Like, what should he indict him for?
Would you be okay with former presidents being indicted for petty theft?
Yes, of a certain
thank God.
value.
They could just indict him for the documents.
For a certain value, but at that time, there could be a genuine argument of presidential record versus personal.
I'm just saying as a matter of principle. Like, I want to make sure that you are not so deferential to the person being a former president that you think that.
Of course not. No, I'm in favor of these investigations. I'm in favor of the one against Biden.
That the standard should just be automatically higher for former presidents.
No, I'm not arguing that. Although in the real world, you don't want to look like a jackass, and so maybe you.
So you do want to make political considerations.
I'm just saying it's an added gloss that if you're going after the former president, you're probably going to want your top guy on it. It's an added gloss. It's marginal. She obviously should be subject to the same rules and procedures of normal citizens. It's an added little gloss. But the way in which it's substantive, Josiah, to answer your point, is if it relates to an element of the underlying charge, which being a former president, I'm sorry to say, is relevant both under the immunity doctrines that we've just been expounded and also the willfulness mens rea.
He was indicted before the immunity.
I understand that, but there are other issues related to immunity.
So then wait, why aren't you wholly opposed to the appointment of the special counsel? Why would you assume any wrongdoing? He was literally the president.
That's a conflict of interest issue. That has to do with the perception of bias.
So that's a political thing then.
Wait, which special counsel? Are you talking about Trump's special counsel or her for
Biden's document? Because he was president when he had that. Why wouldn't you just assume that those must have been his documents? Of course, he's the president.
Because I think that when you're the top of the DOJ, which the president is the head of the executive branch, I think that there's almost like an inherent conflict of interest. It's almost like, you guys ever, let's say that you assigned Dan to do the due diligence or to do the investigation.
Wait. But why is there a conflict of interest? Wait. There's not even a crime. What are we talking about? Wait. Are you telling me there's a conflict of interest for petty theft?
No.
Wait, because there's no crime yet, right? Because you got to prove the willfulness, right?
No. Are you talking about the Joe Biden investigation?
Joe Biden's investigation on documents. When he gave it back, why did there need to be a special counsel for petty theft investigation?
Because he presides over the Department of Justice.
Yeah, so for a petty theft investigation, there needs to be a special counsel.
Yes, of himself.
Okay, all right, there you go, petty theft.
Wait a second. So, Destiny.
Here's what I'm saying. If Biden leaves Walmart and the guy at the greeter asks for the receipt for the bubble gum and he doesn't have it, he's like special counsel next day.
Yeah,
Republican or Democrat
DOJ?
special counsel? Republican or Democrat?
You don't look to political.
Why have they all been Republican?
Isn't that weird?
What do you want me to say?
Why does it work that way?
I don't know. I think it's setting a good example that you pick someone from the other side for our ideal America that we're all building towards.
The one that's getting further and further every day from us.
So do you just abandon it? What if everybody's raping?
You fight for it.
If everybody's raping people around you, are you going to start raping people too?
Kamala didn't do any petty theft.
Can we just talk about how much better it will be under Kamala, and she'll appoint good people?
Hopefully not Republicans.
But listen, but in Pisco's world, if Republicans don't want her to, then she should just roll over and just,
Everyone of my mutuals and my followers, they think that you guys look insane because I am the most Dem-pilled, Kamala-pilled person that there is.
Venn diagram of his audience and Rob Norris, by the way, okay? So just so you know who we're talking about, okay?
You mean a circle?
You acting like I'm a Republican or Republican light.
Let me ask you,
that's
Josiah, if Republicans president had a special counsel, would you want it to be a Democrat?
If only because I would like to see that scale tip back because
No, I don't want it to. I would rather have it be a Republican.
want it to
Because
be-
if it was a Democrat, they'd probably be even fucking worse. They'd probably be even meaner because they'd have to show you how. It's like, you know what? You know who the Dems are? The Dems are the parent in school who's the teacher. And then they have a kid, and they're like, I don't want people to think that I'm being nice to my kid. So they're the so they're the hardest on that. They're whiplash to their kid. Okay, they're Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood to all the other students, and they're
boogie-
whiplash to their kid.
The boogie tune.
And Pisco's like, isn't that better for them though? Isn't it making a better drummer?
yeah.
I think Pisco and I believe in the system, and we
Yeah.
just think there's some bad actors in it right
Yeah.
now. So we shouldn't break the whole thing.
By bad actors,
But it
you
can
mean
go for
half
decades.
of
It
the
can-
parties that are involved in our system
Yes,
right now.
it can. And listen, times of polarization lead to constitutional amendments and lead to good outcomes. So I think it's a short period of time in our history that it's a rough patch.
We have the hardest.
We're beating the horse. I don't know what we're doing
We
here.
have the hardest constitution to amend in the world. 27,000.
Guys, the election is tomorrow. Can we get some positivity?
Yes.
And stop
Okay.
fighting
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
this?
You're right. You're right. Here. Yes. So.
I feel like you hate me. You're like super angry at me.
Boo, tomato,
You
tomato,
don't,
tomato,
you don't
tomato.
feel that after every episode of Live and
True.
Learn? We end up screaming
I
at
just
each
want to
other.
say, like, given how fucked up, like, and chaotic it all is now, it's just that the fact is that this is also the American system kind of just reflecting what the population wants. Half of the eligible voters want this, right?
Steve
They
just
want
brings
Trump
the
and they
stats
want
over.
Yeah.
Republicans and they want all these crazy fucks. And you guys are just like, rather than dealing with that, you guys are just like, how do we deal with the consequences of what half the country believes?
Yes. 'Cause
Yeah.
You're going to piss off the other half. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's what I was going to bring up. How is these solutions
Yeah.
going to do anything to
Right.
make those Republicans
Yes.
become less radical?
I think that's a great question. You want to know the answer is? You want?
They're not
Here's-
going to become less radical.
No, they will become less radical.
Okay.
I think every Democrat should resign from Congress. I think President Biden and Vice President Harris should resign right now. And because Speaker Mike Johnson is next in line of succession,
Dude, quit
so he
talking
becomes
shit.
president. Here's my point: if the whole calculus is what's going to make Republicans happy, then we just
That's
might
a
as well
great
toss
Kermit
them.
voice.
We might as well toss them the fucking keys.
That's true.
It is true. I'm
We
sorry.
have to
There's
live
a
with these
line.
people. We
There's
have
a
to-
line, asshole.
These
There's
are
a
Americans.
line.
We have to live with them. We can't just break all the rules.
Yeah, and my
But
motive.
you cannot meet in the middle with people who have abandoned their principles, but at the same time, we in the process cannot fully abandon all of our principles,
Yeah.
which is why I said there has to be specific targets and specific principles about who
Yes,
gets to be
there is
the
a specific target, a Republican. So the issue is, okay.
No, not that.
In Pisco's world, Pisco's like, I don't think Kamala Harris should certify the election if she wins. Okay, that's what Pisco wants. Okay,
as a gesture of unity to make the other half happy.
Yes. I'm gonna do
Yeah.
what Vice President Pence didn't. Okay,
Right.
I'm gonna fuck this election
I'm
up.
brave. I'm brave.
Okay, I'm gonna pivot the conversation
please
for
do.
like the last little. We're actually gonna pivot the conversation this time.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
gonna
we're
fake
doing
pivot.
it. We're not gonna fake pivot. Okay.
We're done. We're done with this. Okay.
I already did this.
No more. That's gonna restart it somehow. I don't know how it works, but it magically recharges the conversation. It's incredible. Okay, DGG verse. What is your favorite notable villain arc?
I love Vegan Gaines. I don't know if he's a villain.
Is Vegan Gaines
Oh,
a
I know
villain?
it.
What do you mean?
I don't know if he's a villain.
What do you mean?
Yeah, can you define that? Sorry.
Yeah, what do you mean by villain arc?
Oh, I
Is it
wasn't
like what
expecting you to have
is
to
it-
define terms here.
Is it like what Pisco's doing right
Like
now?
Toronto's
True.
are bad.
No, wait, hold on. Wait, you asked for
Honor.
epic moments earlier. I don't think this moment will ever be top on stream. Okay, honestly, and I'm so proud of it. I thought it was the fake Jordan Peterson talk into the Kevil's Manifesto.
Oh,
I like that.
was great.
That was amazing. What did thank you. I think it was Cyber Vegan and somebody else that like cooked that like whole music video up in like fucking
I told you not to do it.
12 hours. Really?
Yeah.
You know what's great?
You told him not to do the Peterson
Yeah.
swap. Oh, I thought it was an
So
epic
I
idea.
remember that so
so funny.
vividly because I had planned. There was some sort of like some friends and I were going out to a brewery, and I lied to my friends. If you guys are watching, you may recall this. And I said I wasn't feeling well just so I could stay home and watch that conversation. And then and then then he said something about Keffel, and I had no idea who that was. I'm like, is this? And I sat there for about 15 more
Fuming.
minutes.
being like, "Where's Pete?"
Yeah, he fucking lied and betrayed me.
And then your Peterson conversation wasn't even that good.
I liked who was that guy, Jack something, where you were talking about, and he was Big Mad. Who was Big Mad?
Yes, I do remember that. That's the one piece of drama I remember too, where he kept breathing heavy and making comments. And you said he breathes heavier than Matt Bellamy. that was pretty funny.
I like Big Mad. He's a funny guy.
Yeah. All right. Any?
I liked the recent one where that guy came in and you and Turkey Tom were in there. And he convinced you that he was friends with the girl that had written that. He was like, I was the one who told her to put Freshly in there. Freshly.
To be clear,
18.
I was in on that as well. Turkey
You-
Tom was not in on
No,
that.
you
I was also
were.
in on that joke. I was also in on that joke.
Were you actually?
No,
Yeah.
he's lying.
Why would I lie about that?
He's lying.
completely lying.
Okay, and then my favorite villain arcs.
Yeah.
Or do you not want this?
Yeah. No.
Boogie. The recent
literally-
Boogie one
The
was.
boogie was great, but he wasn't a villain.
All I principally care about is that
In a way, he was a villain.
Okay.
And funny moments on it, and the villains' arcs are always the.
You
funniest
talked
shit.
about how I quit streaming. I was really upset that I quit before Lav came in. Because I really do feel like
Yes,
I could
that
have
would've
fixed
been-
her. I always felt that every time I watched it, I was like, she's like, the thinking is like almost there,
She's my
but it's
daughter.
like,
She's not stupid.
I was like, she's just wrong, but she's not.
She's
She
not
could
dumb.
be right.
Not completely wrong.
So I was really upset to not be streaming at that time.
How would you fix her character, her moral character?
Give her
Oh,
more
that's not
berets.
my-
Because I don't think that she's dumb. I don't think her problem is that she's dumb. I think that she's like kind of fundamentally a bad person right now.
Oh.
Like just has bad morals.
Oh.
Probably, but I mean,
Or maybe like morals are like fast and loose to like whatever serves you in the moment. Maybe.
yeah, I don't know how I could fix that.
Oh.
But I could fix her brain. And I actually, and I mean this in total solidarity, I love the Anna arc. And I'm solidarity with Anna.
You love the what?
Anna.
Arc.
Oh.
I had a happy ending.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm
Eventually.
friends.
Eventually, yeah.
It took 4 years.
We got there.
Yeah. I don't know, K911, is that applicable?
Sure. Yeah, I just.
I just think watching Hassan get so
You guys are so
butthurt
into
over
him,
that
huh?
is so funny to
You
me.
guys love him.
No,
They
but
love,
it was,
they love to
They
hate
love
him.
talking about him. He occupies your headspace 24/7.
but it was the whole community coming together to do something.
Yeah, the
That
art,
was-
the
that
pixel
was
art
nice.
stuff.
Yeah.
I was actually pretty
Art
impressed by
slash
the.
place is super cute.
Yeah.
It's super cute to watch like the DGG community like get together and like time it
Yeah.
and like just take it so artistically seriously
And-
to like make little pictures and art. I think it's so cute.
And watching you learn different systems and seeing what works to get them
I
to
didn't
fire
learn
and all
those.
that.
Those came from EVE Online, my days commanding police there.
Okay. Your spaceships, yeah, cool.
Really?
I don't have like a I
Favorite
guess a
arc, favorite
Okay,
moment, funny
arc,
moment.
genuinely,
Anything, yeah.
might be what's happening right now with Twitch and the
Dan Clancy.
Dan
Oh,
stuff. That might be.
Hassan lost his Bernie Sanders interview.
Oh no.
But we don't know for sure, do we? Is that 100% gone?
That's Dan's villain arc, though.
Yeah,
That
well,
is-
yeah, but it's Dan in the community, and
It's Dan's Batman arc.
Yeah, this has been by far the most like engaging, interesting, thought provoking. Like I love that it's actually there's change that is happening.
it's actually-
it feels incredible.
It's really interesting to see DGG mobilize in such a like specific way because I feel like very few communities online get mobilized, and like obviously I've been working with DGG all year doing like the canvassing event, so I'm like very aware of how they kind of can mobilize politically and stuff.
Yeah.
Even with like no offense, but pretty lackluster like hoorah go canvass. And it's very interesting to watch like the Dan Clancy stuff because obviously everyone's really passionate
Yeah.
about it and excited. It's like you've got Congress on it.
Yep.
I don't know what old Dan has said publicly, so I won't go into the list of things that are happening. But it's like it's pretty fucking insane what the community can do.
Yeah.
Is there like a
Well, I think
another
it's-
thing that should be done?
Well, I think it's activism once again.
Yeah,
you
it
know,
is.
like
It's
you
literally-
had the canvassing, that's activism, and this is people saying, "Holy shit! If I contact my congressman," I mean, there's people who probably called their congress a member for the first time ever and emailed them.
Yeah.
Maybe they got a response, maybe they didn't, but they did it, and so maybe people don't agree with the reasons to do it, or maybe they do. You got people to do that.
Yeah,
so.
that's what I was gonna say. Made it very accessible to be able to a lot of people for the first time to be able to engage politically, locally,
Yes.
and then also with like the canvassing stuff. So those are like my arcs is like the political activation that I think is really interesting and fun. But especially with this Twitch one, because there's a lot of people who are more plugged in or feel more connected to this type of thing, and it is a really big issue. So I really like that. But if we're talking like fun, like meme stuff that's like kind of engaging was I liked the Lab Mr. Gold shit. I thought that shit was nutty, bro. That shit was crazy, dude.
150,000 words.
Yeah, that was crazy. I was like, oh, there ain't no way, bro. But yeah, I mean, it was very fun engaging with those ideas, no matter how crazy they were. It was super interesting getting ABBA to come in and be like,
with Annalisa. Remember what was the Lav said to somebody like excuse me, please let me do this. I know so much about black women's issues.
Yeah, oh dude, it's
what a legend.
So many memes and everybody had their input and their takes and stuff. It was a lot of fun. I liked it.
I like infrared.
Oh, when he yelled at you and he wasn't even on camera? Do you remember that very first conversation he had with you? Probably not. He was standing.
With
so his face was cut off. He's like, I want to fight you, Destiny.
Oh, Jesus.
He's funny.
Was that the guy you called
AK-447?
He's the one that obsessed about how you have a long torso, right?
Something like that.
Because he was sitting next to him.
Sit from my
He
stage.
was taller than him, so he's like, he's just got a long torso, man.
It was when he kept on getting cut off on the mic in that debate.
Oh, that was Raleigh.
With Dylan. No, it was Haas and Dylan. It was Haas and Hinkle.
You do. It's not over.
No, it was Haas and Hinkle against Stephen and Dylan.
Oh, that was.
And the moderator kept on cutting him off, but because it was a fucking StreamYard or
And he
something,
kept,
Haas could unmute himself. You just hear this constant cut off, is it true that you're skinny fat? You're gonna body Sid from Ice Age.
When Haas
Cock
said that he
fuck.
liked Wagner.
Oh, yes. I was going to say,
Wagner,
yeah.
And when Haas
said he
said he
liked
was like, I
Wagner.
love Wagner, and you were like, which piece? And then,
Kanye.
and then he's like, Kanye's from where I'm from.
Lake Michigan, where I'm
Kanye's from Lake
from.
Michigan.
And
Famous Chicago.
Fuentes was on that call. And he's from Chicago, he got mad. And the other one, we like that he has a sword.
I love the sword. I think if you're gonna go hard.
He has a sword?
I think one of my favorite clips of all time. I have two favorite clips. I'm so sorry. They're both from very bad people. But one is from when Zerka is on stream talking about how he wound up Haas before the fucking debate.
No, I don't know.
No, I don't.
Oh
I don't
my
think I've
God.
seen it. Could you find it?
If somebody in chat can link it and somebody can click it, just give them 20 seconds to link it. That one is funny, guys. I also really like. It's not good, but I think the Dark Knight clip where Nick Fuentes is the Joker and he's like,
say
I
the
really like
N-word.
slurs or whatever. Or yeah, I say the N-word or some shit, and then Babin is, and then it's my voice saying, "You're really gonna like me." Yeah, that's a good one. I butchered the fuck out of me, but those are my two favorite
Pull it
clips.
up. Come on, guys. Give
Someone
me a
will find
link.
it.
They won't find it.
Linkers.
That's DGG. What do you mean they won't find it?
They have 20 seconds.
You just said they're good at mobilizing.
They're good at mobilizing.
Right now,
They'll do it. They'll do
They're
it.
canvassing. They're
I
too
believe
busy
in you guys.
canvassing, getting out the vote. Keep knocking.
There
Okay.
it is. Click that first one. If it's wrong, then permaban him.
I'm not doing that.
Oh fuck, that's the Fuentes one.
Like going up to somebody and I'm like, you say the N-word. I like that. And Destiny's like, you're gonna love me.
That's a good shot.
That's a good one.
I need the Zerka one though. Now we're gonna watch that video. The Zerka one is so funny. This was after, so Zerka and Haas were friends. Now these are fine.
Guys.
Zerka and Haas were friends.
Zerka clip.
And Zerka was talking about how he had basically wound up Haas before the debate. Fuck, is it really that hard to find? Try that one. Who did it? Wait. All right, no more links.
No way, he's level 5 or whatever.
That's
You can't
okay.
do it.
Ban it for a day.
No way.
Ban for election day?
No,
Tier 5.
No, don't do that.
Guys,
No.
Jader, just so you know, I
He
have all the
knows better.
power. I have all the power, and I'm forgiving you. Despite
He gets one.
True.
Jada, your
Despite
next
your
invoice is at a
streamer.
20% discount. You better reply it at the end or I'm not PayPaling you. Thank you. It's one of my two website maintainers.
So close.
Nope. That's the Joker one.
somebody give me the Zerka one. Come on.
I can't believe he got away with
Mobilizers, by the way. Adam, by the way.
Try that one.
Made their choice.
Horse crotch snake. Do we trust him?
It's a white name.
I'm just
How
curious.
am I
John,
supposed
Oh,
to
that's
defend
him screaming
myself?
at.
John,
I
that's
asked
good,
you
though.
to TOS
No,
because you won't
dude.
let me defend
No, that's the
myself.
softest
You're
shit in the
literally
world.
still talking
That's
over me,
dude, you will
and
go
won't
down
let
as
me
the biggest
fucking defend
pussy
myself.
on this
All
platform
you
in
do
the
is
history
talk
of
over me.
mankind.
All you fucking do
You
is
are
talk
gonna
over
go
me.
down as
All
the
you
biggest
fucking
pussy
do
in
is
the
talk
history
over
of
me.
this fucking platform.
All right. Is it?
No, you gotta give out.
Sorry.
All you
Yeah,
fucking
fuck
did
off,
is
you
talk
baby
over me.
fuck. All right,
All you
keep fucking
fucking
trying.
did
Dude,
is talk
mission
over me.
fucking completed.
All you
dude.
fucking did is talk.
God, dude.
It's
He's
talk
fucking
over
crying,
me.
dude.
All you fucking did
Oh
is
my
talk
God.
over
Holy
me.
fucking
All you
shit.
fucking did
Reel in your
is
mans.
talk over me.
Reel in your mans, John.
Fuck.
Holy fucking
All you
shit.
fucking
Reel in your
do
fucking
is
mans, John.
talk over me.
You gotta reel this guy in. dude.
Okay.
That's
Okay, I don't know if we're getting the Zerka clip.
I don't know if we have it. I don't know.
seen this.
I don't know what.
Oh my God, it's so good.
Someone put it in the Reddit later if you find it.
All right.
Yeah, we'll find it.
Let's try the next one, I guess.
Instagram? No.
No. Damn, we really don't have the Zerka clip, guys.
My dad is convinced that Haas is like a secret Syrian.
Your dad knows who Haas is?
Yeah.
It's more concerning than that. That's crazy.
Darius, Destiny.
It's already been clicked, so it's not it.
Has it already been clicked too? Is that what it means? when
That's
it's
no problem,
purple?
yeah.
Guys, you can do this. Purple.
Nope. All right, fuck them.
Fuck you guys. No Zerka.
said two. What's
At
the
the
other?
bottom of chat.
People are saying Zerka Haas at the bottom of chat. Click more messages below. Oh, wait. Oh, fuck. That was wait.
Livestream Fizz?
No. Maybe yeah. That might be it.
Haley, what's your schedule
And
looking
then
like?
chat is
For what?
No.
I mean, like, when do you usually
this is
wake
not
up?
it.
Can you make it for late night shows?
What?
Oh yeah, 100%.
That is
I mean,
funny,
to be
but-
honest,
No,
I
close it, close it. You
haven't,
gotta
like I
close it.
said before.
Not good.
Wait, no, they don't have it. You guys are retarded. Okay.
Dude, how do you not play League of Legends at all anymore?
Fuck that.
Wow.
Oh, what's the LSF one?
That's
That's
the
the
one
one
we
she
just
clicked.
clicked.
It's not a. These guys are retarded.
They're saying they linked it.
They're linking the wrong clip.
I will rope if it's not right. Oh, he said he'd rope.
Okay.
All right, Mr.
Yo,
Backshots.
Chet, you want to hear how ungrateful this guy is?
Oh my God, here we go.
He said that, yo, I've literally beaten the shit out of people who have spoken like this, but I love you too much to ever fucking do anything. He's said to me straight up offline.
Just close it. It's not there.
Yeah, I just.
You know, what I learned is
Please
that
don't rope
you
yourself.
have such shit taste, nobody can find what the fuck you're looking for.
No, it's a
That's
good
what
ass.
that is.
It's a
Nobody
good.
knows. No,
No,
it's
it's a
dog
good. It's a
shit.
good clip. They're just retarded. my
Nobody can find it because
No, that's not it.
no.
Well, you're just
You're
talking
coping.
like a Mongol.
I don't give a f. I am a Mongoloid. In my heart, I'm a Mongoloid. That is what I am. We are a horde. That is what we are. Yes, we are that. We are 100% that.
That's not something to be proud of.
It is something to be proud of. The ones who created civilization.
God, you're such
And you
a good
created
villain.
nothing but barbarism. You're the fucking barbarians. You destroyed the treasures of mankind. The Mongols only united it. What the fuck do you know about civilization? What the fuck do you know about pride? What the fuck do you have to be proud of? Except looting, genociding, and destroying the cultures and peoples and wealth of this world. What the fuck do you know, cans cock?
Well, you're the one here chipping out, so.
I am chipping out, bitch. 'Cause I'm a fucking human being. And you're a little soy boy cuck little bitch. You don't know who the fuck I am.
No, I see you. I think you're a Mongoloid. That's
You're right. It is what I am, and I'm proud of being that.
well, it's an anthropological term. It doesn't actually
Okay.
mean Mongol.
Oh,
or
so what's your fucking point? You ugly, disgusting, fucking ugly,
The editing on this is
disgusting,
amazing.
barbarian, smelly piece of shit.
Oh, what's
You
the
want to
one where
talk
he's like,
racism?
you haven't
I could be
demonstrated.
way more racist than you, Angloids.
There's a Haas
What fucking
debate.
civilizations did Angloids ever
He's
fucking
debating
have?
someone who
It needed the
keeps on
Romans
saying
to
you haven't
fuck-
demonstrated,
Oh,
and Haas just keeps saying it.
I think he
back
talked to
him.
Steven once. He's like some fedora guy. He's like,
Some stupid shit.
what's his name? You guys know his name.
Fuck you. Wobbles, if I could ban you.
He's
I would.
Alacrity guy. Is it the Alacrity guy? You guys know what I'm talking about?
Saying you haven't demonstrated.
The Alacrity guy?
I give up. We're not getting
Wait,
the Zerka
you know
clip.
No, we're not. Are you talking about the logo stateless guy or whatever?
Oh, logo.
Or logo? That guy's crazy.
Yeah.
Dispatch with alacrity. Why do I remember that name or something? Do I...
Yeah, I think that was the guy who said you haven't
Wait,
demonstrated.
Bill. Okay, try one more link from the Exxon killer guy. Fucker.
Okay,
There's the last one.
this one?
Oh, you know so much about my personal life, or claim to know so
Oh.
much.
I
started to consider you a big enemy of mine
Oh, wait, pause, and max. Okay, God, I think this is it. Yeah, full screen it.
All right. All right,
go
we're
back.
starting from the beginning.
Oh my
Are you
god.
ready,
You know
boys?
so much about my personal life, or claim to know.
Because I started to consider you a big enemy of mine recently.
Oh yeah,
As
I
of the
wonder
past
where
2
you got
weeks.
that idea.
started-
I wonder why Oz is so fired up. It's almost like Circa convinced him on a 2-hour phone call to go ape shit. I said he doesn't respect you like he does Jackson and me because you're soft on him and he went fucking nuclear. I spilled for all my pain. I can't believe
No,
this.
Destiny, every
When
time
people
I
are DMing me, I'm like, I don't want to watch.
It's because I'm
Sounds a little
responding.
oh.
So much about my
hell? So that whole time?
Because Haas afterwards blamed Infrared for bad prep for why I lost his Twitter, and then I'm sorry, Haas blamed Zerka. Infrared blamed Zerka, and then Zerka come out later, and Zerka was just like, yeah, Destiny and Dylan, they don't respect you, so you gotta go fucking crazy in this debate.
Oh my god.
That's so funny.
Anyway, wow. Okay, who else? Sorry, we gotta wrap this the
All right.
fuck up. Who else?
If
Did
you
we
guys
get
are
everybody?
enjoying this, make sure you subscribe.
Subscribe to Bridges
Yeah,
podcast.
based. True.
Wow.
Elections tomorrow.
Yeah.
Whew. Any other villains?
Do we have a final prediction from Steven?
Fanatic.
Oh, villain.
I'm gonna make a big prediction.
Fanatic.
I'm gonna make a big prediction. Landslide for Kamala in the Electoral College.
What does a landslide mean?
Every swing state?
Three.
All seven? All
no,
seven?
no.
Minus Arizona.
6 out of 7.
Whoa.
6 out of 7.
Which one does she
Is he gonna
lose?
get Penn?
Either is Nevada a swing state right now?
Yeah.
Arizona or Nevada? One of those stupid fucking.
I think I saw a poll just saying that Nevada looked good.
Yeah.
That's why I said
Nevada.
6. That's why I said 6
Not Penn.
out
You
of
think
7.
she's gonna get Penn?
Of course,
Yeah.
easy. Do you know how many Puerto Ricans are in Pennsylvania? 400,000. A lot of them.
Too.
Yeah.
Aggregate polling has Trump up by 1% in Nevada.
I'm sorry. Is this Vadim's stream yet? Is this Vadim's stream? It's not.
No, don't
so,
be mean to Vadim.
Yeah. Don't
what
be
the
mean to me.
fuck,
You're not even
man?
paying him.
You're
first of
paying
all,
him?
we are paying him because
Okay.
Vadim. I'm sorry. Are you getting paid? Have I already paid you half?
You should be as nice to Vadim
Exactly.
as Kyle
I
is.
hired Vadim, not Dan. So Vadim is getting paid. Okay. Thank you. Okay. I do pay my staff.
I've been lied to.
It was such a pleasure to come on the show, Steven.
Fuck you. Where's my money? Why ain't I getting paid? Give me
Look,
money.
they covered your accommodations for like 7
I'm not
extra
supposed
days.
to tell them that.
Yeah. You got paid an exposure.
Fucking whiner over
I
here.
don't understand.
Relly said, "Can I stay an extra 7 days?" And they said, "Sure."
Oh, also minor shout out for anybody that didn't follow to the villain that kicked us out of the one, the Yitzhak guy.
What?
When we tried
Yitzhar,
to-
the settlement,
We tried
yeah.
to get into Nablus, and there's like a crazy settlement outside called, is it Yitzhak or Yitzhar?
Yitzhar.
Yitzhar. And then some crazy fucking ghetto-y Jewish terrorist guy came out and he was like, get the fuck out of here, kids. And that motherfucker got arrested for being a terrorist fuck. So
You got
fuck that
sanctioned.
guy.
You didn't get
Whoa.
terrorist.
Close enough. Fuck you.
He's never getting arrested.
This is like your
Yeah, thanks
opinion
about the
on
US government.
the red pill coach, red pill guy. You want bad
That's a
things
little
to
bit
happen to
mean.
people.
That's meaner. I mean, he maybe deserved it though.
The guy who was like, I'm super wealthy.
Yeah, he is dead.
Rest in
He
peace.
is though.
He didn't, he didn't, he didn't
Still on
deserve
blacklist
that.
though. That's not
He's
changing.
never getting out of this pickle.
No, no.
The fuck?
We have a surprise for you at some point. not now.
Ooh.
Did you bring his ashes?
Is it treats?
Oh,
Holy shit.
no.
That would be really funny to have in the background just
No.
saying of my scream. Like these are my like worst debate opponents.
What is wrong with you? But it's also a surprise for Chad at some point, but we'll talk about it
Oh,
later.
it's coming tomorrow.
Maybe, maybe.
Tomorrow's not the day.
I'm not going to be here.
Wait,
9
there's a
months from now.
surprise, but it's not tomorrow.
That's
No.
the difference.
Yeah, is it 9 months from now?
No.
What do you think? This is a Merrick Garland investigation?
Got him. So the surprise, there is a surprise, but we're not getting it tomorrow.
No.
You're just teasing it,
I'm just teasing that there's.
and it's gonna come months
I like
later.
to tease. I like to tease.
It's gonna be.
You'll know when you see it. Yeah. But anyway,
I'm not pregnant. Thank you, Kyla. Thank you so much.
You've been glowing tonight in a way that's
You
just
are
hard to put a
glowing.
finger on. Yeah.
Incredible.
I'm not pregnant.
Your
Chad.
skin.
It's just Mayor
glowing,
Garland reference
dewy.
had me like at 9 months. He just shoves it right
can
back
you
in.
get over
So-
it? He's gonna be gone. He's gonna leave.
Yeah.
One silver line.
Yeah, who are you gonna beat up on when Merrick Garland's gone?
It's
huh?
gonna
Who
be
are you
the
gonna
next
blame for
person.
all your problems?
That's gonna be the one cabinet holdover. It's gonna be Garland. He's gonna see like, look, they're playing by the rules.
She does keep him now.
I hope she does.
I hope she keeps him. him.
I hope she does.
No, he's going to be Trump's holdover because Trump's going to be like, I like this guy. You're the guy that Jeff Sessions never was for me. Thank you, Mr. Garland.
She's like, you know what? As a consolation prize, we're going to invite Bill Barr back for another.
You're comparing him to Sessions. That shows you're unhinged.
Well,
I compared him
Sessions.
to Bill Barr.
Sessions'
You're comparing
credit.
Garland to Bill Barr.
He almost immediately recused himself.
All right, we're done with this topic.
Okay, thanks guys for tuning into Bridges. That was
Thank you so
awesome.
much.
Cool.
That was awesome. Really appreciate it. Any last shout
Donald Trump tweeting at Sessions. He was so fucking mad. Patreon. If you want to support the channel, patreon.com/Bridges
Bridges Studio. Yep.
And
Ground
then subscribe to this channel.
Yeah.
Bridges Podcast. Bridges Productions.
You can just hit subscribe.
Hit
I don't think
subscribe
I
on
need
whatever
to search
fucking YouTube
anything
video you're
to
watching.
subscribe.
Yeah.
Like
and we'll see you
comment.
guys tomorrow for Kamala's
We also
amazing
Coronation.
sweep, her
Coronation
huge victory.
landslide
We don't know that.
Oh, we do know
It's a close
that.
election.
How much are you
Make sure
betting?
you vote.
on it being Nevada.
And everyone's
being
wearing
the
a
one
full suit
red.
except for IRL,
I'm
who's
not
wearing a
wearing
chain and a turtleneck.
Yes. You're going to be wearing a suit, yeah?
I'm
You
not
just said
wearing a
everybody.
Absolutely
Yeah,
not. That's
Chat,
funny though.
would you guys like to see Steven in a suit?
Type
Type
one
one
if
in
you want to
chat.
see Steven in a suit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna come mag it up. Not in like a real mag way, in like a Fox News
I just
way.
really want to make more pregnancy jokes, but
Jesus Christ.
All right, thank you guys. Can I do one last shout? I hate doing shout outs.
Go.
But I got fucked on roommates, okay? So I need 2 roommates. I live in the Pflugerville area of Austin, okay? 2 of my roommates literally just drove away and left and abandoned me, okay? So I need 2 roommates. Rent is pretty cheap, roughly $750 after everything, okay? I'm a great roommate,
Really?
please.
The stream ended 30 seconds ago.
I mean, I'll fight somebody. I'll fight